Hey.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Thank you, brother.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
Got your back.
Let's have a great show.
We're going to have a great show. Mongo? Cheers, brother.
We're ready to go.
Peggy?
We're on.
Blondie? Hey. Ah, you answered. Ha! Cheers.
Ready?
Yep. Here. Hit me, brother.
Welcome to the 99% Radio Network, live from the VFW Post 5076 here in Garland, Texas. Man, we are great to be back after a 2-week hiatus with the holidays approaching it with Christmas and New Year's. Man, welcome back, Mongo. Welcome back, 12.
Good to be back. We're back.
Man, it's
yeah,
so
buddy.
nice. It's so nice to be back on the air and live again. I want to thank everybody who supported us through our hiatus and was giving us. We had a lot of great things coming up on the show today. So please share, like, and tune in as much as you can. Like I said, we are live here from the VFW Post 5076 in Garland, Texas. The show is brought to you by the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, the V-Rock, located at 4210 Industrial Boulevard in Raleigh, Texas. The V-Rock offers veterans, first responders, and their families various programs, classes, and resources. Chris Cigar and his family have been serving the Raleigh and surrounding communities for over 20 years through Life's Message. Since the V-Rocks opened, they have helped over almost 200 families, correct?
Every bit of that. Yep.
Over 200 families, and they do that as a non-for-profit organization, so they do need your support as well. So visit them at lifemessage.org, give them the support, check out their resources that they have to offer you, and be a sponsor of the V-Rock. So welcome, Sideshow. Welcome, Sideshow.
Hey, welcome yourself.
Hey,
welcome, Sideshow.
Welcome myself. Welcome, 12 and Mongo. Man, how was everybody's holidays?
Wonderful.
My holidays were good.
Yeah?
I picked up a little extra weight during the holidays.
I can see that.
Yeah, thank you.
It's all right.
So my wife has got me on the keto diet, and I'm down 10. I've got like 15 to go, and then it sucks, but I'm doing all right.
Me too.
You're both on a keto diet?
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
Oh, no.
I'm ketoing it right
really?
here.
I miss my potatoes and bread, but and our French fries, a food group, because I miss those too.
Well, I got to say, and kudos to Rocky and Smiley, because they've been on that keto diet, and not that they didn't look good before, but they do look good now.
Smiley's lost
Rocky's
25 fucking
lost a lot of weight.
They really look great.
I said the F word.
And
I said the F word.
Oh, we're not FCC regular right now.
I've seen a lot of people on that keto diet, and it's worked really well for them, not only weight-wise but health-wise. So once again, I am not on that. I choose to be fat and unhealthy.
My cardiologist put me down on the sheet as obese, which I took offense to.
Fat ass.
Well,
what is it? Did he say grossly obese, or did
grossly.
he say mildly?
He said
obese?
Grossly.
It just said obese, but
Grossly.
I mean, if you go by that BMI index,
Right.
that's bullshit. I mean, I go to the gym every day. I got a little gut on me, but I'm not obese.
No, you're far from obese.
I've seen obese, and I'm not there.
I think you should go see another doctor.
I like to think of myself as comfortable.
Hey, like Doc Holliday, we are in our prime.
You're in your... Big shout out to Tigger, who just logged on, Barbara Bailey, and Judy Lamb. Thank you guys for tuning in. Judy Lamb. We welcome everybody back, and I hope everybody had a very healthy and happy holiday. Glad they are over. We can finally start taking down the Christmas decorations in my house because of Little Christmas. It's a tradition that my wife makes sure happens every year. January 6th, we end up taking our stuff down.
Did you have black-eyed peas?
Huh? We did not have black-eyed peas, and don't bring that up because that was an argument. That was an argument because I didn't buy black-eyed peas. I bought black beans.
Well, before y'all...
Black is black.
Before y'all get into your argument, I just want to say hi to Rick Medlin Sr., who's one of my Burbank buddies and a brother Marine.
He's on there? Rick is listening?
John F. Walsh is on there. Hello, John. And also we've got our listener, Sean...
What's up, Rick?
Brendan from Ireland is on right now.
Preacher.
And Preacher.
Way to go, Preacher.
Yeah, we definitely did that whole black bean thing, and I haven't seen the results of it yet, but hopefully we'll see it soon.
What
Did
happened?
you tell him where we were at today?
Yeah, I told them numerous times where we're at.
You
We're
were
at the 5076. You just were not paying attention.
Where was I?
You were
right here,
there,
but what were you doing?
weren't listening.
I don't know.
Get
Playing
off,
with
get
myself
off
or something.
Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook. Uh-oh. All right.
So, once again, we're here at the VFW 5076 in Garland, Texas, and we're going to do a little recap on certain things that, 2019 was a banner year for the 99% Radio Network, along with a lot of our, I guess our things that we've done between the comedy shows, between Walking the Bridge. T-Mobile has been a big help in supporting all of us with getting the word out. Walk the Bridge has, let's talk about, well, first, you know what, before I even get into that, 12, who are our guests today?
Man, I'm really excited. We're kicking off 2020 with a really good lineup. So we're broadcasting live here today from VFW Post 5076, which is located at the intersection of Castle and Meridian in the city of Garland, Texas. And we're going to have the Post commander, Ed Gunner Kleinbill. Gunner is a great supporter of veterans. He's a Vietnam vet. He's a friend of the 99% Radio Network.
He's
friend
one of
Third
our past
Watch.
recognized people from.
Yep. He's a Raleigh vet.
Raleigh veterans.
Yeah. And we're very excited to have him on the show today. We're going to have, you notice we're enjoying some fine cigars right now. We're going to have Jeff Peters from the Main Street Cigar Company come in and talk to us about all things cigars.
Now, Jeff has also been a big supporter with Third Watch LEMC, our club.
Yep.
With Smokes and Spokes.
One
of the co-sponsors of Spokes and Spokes,
Yep. So we can talk about that as well.
Yep. So we'll talk about some of the stuff we've done in the past, some of the stuff we're going to do in the future, but mainly about cigars. And smoking some nice sticks. And then we're going to have Chris Cigar, caregiver, who is the founder, CEO, and director of Life Message, the V-Rock. We're going to talk about some things that are happening with Walk the Bridge and how they tie in to the city of Raleigh, first responders, Walk the Bridge and our veterans, and some of the results that we've had. There's some really big things, some really good things that are coming up, and I'm really excited for us to talk about them and to share them with our viewers and our listeners. And I understand that we may have a special guest come in today. His name is Chad Prada, and he is running for sheriff of Dallas County, and he is a fan of the show, and he asked if he might stop by today. So I'm thinking he might pop in here after a while.
That'd be great, man. Speaking about being fans of the show, I want to thank everybody once again. In just a short 6 months that we've been on, we've because of your support, because of your sharing, we have accumulated over 50,000 listeners per month, if not more. which is
23 countries we are in. We've been heard in 23 countries
We're
around
in
the
over
world.
23 countries around the world, and over 50,000 listeners per month. So that is something that is just unheard of in 6 months.
Yeah.
So making a difference counts. We've been pushing making a difference real hard between here and Mad Radio, and we're trying to stay on the air as much as we can as Fishbowl reorganizes after their water main break over in their Arlington studios. We hope to be back in there by the end of January, beginning of February. I know everybody from the Fishbowl organization is working diligently to get us back in. They had to find a new studio location due to the building has been almost condemned because of all the damage that was done through that water main break. But they are working day and night getting us back into a new studio, which Fishbowl is going to bring bigger and better things in 2020. Better for our listeners, better for our hosts, better for the show. It's gonna bring everything to a more professional, more network based programming.
Plus, it's awesome to wear headphones when you're in the studio.
Yeah,
You really look like a radio broadcaster.
You look cool with the headphones, right?
With the microphone in front of us. Yeah.
So,
hey, we forgot Shiner from BAB.
Oh, and Shiner from BAB may be stopping by.
Yeah, he's going to stop by too.
Listen, we always like popping guests here. If you're in the neighborhood around Garland, come on in. We always like to share a stick and have a beer with you. Come on the air. Tell us how you're making a difference this year. What you're going to do this year. What your club's planning on doing this year. Like I said, we are kind of just winging this with the computer and our webcam. Well, we're making it work. We're making it work.
I want to say that T-Mobile has really stepped up with our Ion First Responder program.
Yeah.
And they've asked us to expand a bit, and we have, and we're actually we're working kind of in negotiations with Allen America and the Allen Event Center up in Allen right now to get something going up there. But everybody that we talk to is in with us. And T-Mobile is making it happen, so we're really happy that, and we're looking forward to unveiling our T-Mobile and Iron First Responder banner at our comedy show on the 18th of January at the Plano Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, well we'll get into that comedy show, but for our first-time listeners and to remind everybody what Iron First Responders is all about, why don't you just give them a brief background on what that's all about, Mongo?
Tell them, Mongo.
I will tell you. We started basically as a recognizing a Dallas-Fort Worth area first responder as a date night. The program has expanded, so basically what we're doing now is we pick a first responder. T-Mobile has jumped in with us, and they've helped us to make it a once a month program, and they've given us some funds to where we can actually do some other things, get some nicer stuff. But what we do is we have what we call an appreciation package, and it consists of a $75 gift card to either Texas Roadhouse or Saltgrass, a $25 movie pass for two, $50 babysitting money if they need it so they can actually get away from the house, or we give them a $50 gift card from...
Or duct tape.
Or duct tape. That's a lot cheaper. We save money that way.
Duct tape and a padlock.
We can give them a gift pass from Bass Pro Shop for the $50 if they don't need babysitting. Lone Star Cheesecakes has donated to Cheesecake once a month.
Christy Stevens, thank you very much.
Christy Stevens, thank you.
Yep.
Gianna Mead from Rockwell Body and Soul has donated a 90-minute massage to our first responder every month. So we have that. Also, Michael Prater, Painted Pony Knives out of Flintstone, Georgia, has promised us one custom knife per month for our first responder. Typically, we've been getting folding buck knives, which are beautiful. But actually, this next month we're giving away a fixed blade buck knife that's with a nice sheath. It's got nice metal work and some jewel work done to it. And we also have a promise from Six Flags Over Texas to give us 2 day passes per month for our first responder recipient. And so we find our first responder every month. T-Mobile has asked us to expand and reach further out. So we're working with Texarkana right now, as well as we're going to recognize a detective from Denison PD. That's the one we're trying to work with Allen Americans on right now. We're trying to get that organized. Right now, the tentative date for that is going to be at the arena on, tell me it's the 21st?
Yep.
The 21st of February at a game. They've been more than generous, the Allen Americans have, as well as the Allen Event Center. So we're still negotiating how that's going to work out exactly, but that's basically our program. We recognize a first responder every month, take a lot of pictures, and give them their appreciation package, say thank you for doing what they do. It's hard work. And then we move on to the next recipient.
You know, nowadays it's even harder for our first responders because of what they have to put up with, not only in the media, but what they have to put up, excuse me, on the street. So it's nice for them to be recognized and be appreciated, and for our fan base to turn around and say, "Hey, thank you for what you do." It keeps morale up, and it helps in more ways than one, because as a first responder, you can get very disheartened. You can really lose your way, and get really put off by helping when you get so much negativity. So this positivity towards our first responders is a big help. It's a big morale boost through all facets of it. I've dealt with first responders for 30 years. I know you guys have in California as well. And I do have to give a shout out. I just got a text. Two long-time great friends of mine, Bobby Capadonna, who was a Suffolk County police officer, and Joey Patil, who is a Farmingdale firefighter, are watching from Long Island. So thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it, and I thank you guys for your continuous support and what you guys do as first responders.
I won't name the agency because it's probably embarrassing, but within the first responder community, I went to an agency with my badge in hand, with a cover letter and a business card, and explained what our program was, the Eye on First Responders. And after the entire explanation was done, I was asked, "So what are you selling?"
Yeah. It's because they weren't listening.
Let me interrupt.
They weren't listening.
Rigid from Nine Brothers is on. He says, "Turn up the volume." You can't
hear
us.
Turn up the volume. Turn up your phone. I mean, we're trying to yell as best we can, Rigid. I'm sorry, man.
Rigid.
If anybody else is having any problems hearing us, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, Rigid said, "Turn up the volume."
Sorry, brother. We're doing our best with what we have here. We only have one microphone because we're not in the studio. I do apologize for either the poor video or the poor audio.
How's the modulation going right now, anybody?
We're trying.
Can you hear us, Rigid?
Anybody respond? Just give us a text.
Thumbs up or something.
You know
what, Sideshow? This is what's pretty cool, because Mongo has put in a ton of work to making Eye on First Responders a quality, not only a quality product, but at the baseline of that is to go to places and recognize first responders that may otherwise, good cops, good firemen, good 911 dispatchers, that might work in anonymity. And this program sheds light on these people, and it is spreading, honestly, like wildfire right now.
Right.
All over North Texas. And we keep getting requests. "Oh my God, we like this program. Can you come to our department? Can you come to our 911 center and share the word about our people, what they're doing?" And I can tell you this: the 99% Radio Network, Third Watch, LEMC, all of our supporters, VFW Post 5076, everybody that we're associated with, these other clubs that we've had on the show, all of us collectively are committed to bringing positive attention to making a difference to the lives of our first responders and our veterans. And this since we're talking about this program, Mongo's done a great job on it. It's spreading, and the whole point of it is to bring positive attention to our first responders, the good stuff that they're doing out there. There's so much negativity, all the lib turds and dumbocrats, and I know we go down the middle, but all these people being critical of what cops have to do and have to go through, we're trying to counter that. We're trying to be because we all know it's really like to get in a car and drive around on patrol for 8 or 12 hours a day and deal with these assholes that we have to deal with every damn day.
Well,
There's a lot of stress and pressure, and we're trying to bring attention and honor these guys, firemen, policemen, 911 telecommunicators, all these people that are out there day in and day out doing a job, doing it well, for no recognition.
Yeah, and don't let 12 fool you. He and my wife Rocky have also helped out quite a bit in this program. It's not just my work, but they pick up what I can't take care of, and they do a good job. We're getting this thing rolling pretty good.
And don't forget T-Mobile, because they have jumped in. They have a program all across Texas. This thing is spread, and pretty soon all across the country. They are, as a corporation, are doing the right thing. They're trying to give back in the communities that they service. They're trying to be a good neighbor. They want to help and say, you know what? It's not necessarily about making the money, about selling the phone or selling the program. We're about the person, about the individual, about the department. And between us, I think it's very fair to say that we're making a difference. We're bringing attention to good cops, good firemen, good 911 telecommunicators, the veterans that are making a difference, giving back to their community, and we're doing it.
I'm trying real hard to use the term 911 telecommunicators, but
dispatcher.
Unfortunately, I'm still hardcore old school, and I refer to them as dispatchers, and that's not a disparaging term as far as I'm concerned, because they are what they are. You can call them what you want to. 911 telecommunicators, dispatchers.
They are first responders.
They're the ones that take that call first, and they're the ones that they're our lifeline when we're out there in the field.
Well, back to T-Mobile for a quick minute. T-Mobile, as big as they are, realizes the need for our veterans and realizes the need for our first responders, and they offer plans that are conducive for each individual budget. When you get deployed and you come back and you don't have the money for a cell phone, T-Mobile's there to provide you with the service and the help that can get you back on your feet, because everybody does need a cell phone. Same with a police officer. Most police officers don't make that much money, and plans are sort of expensive. So T-Mobile recognized that. They recognize the need for our first responders to be available by phone, and they have put together packages specially designed for our veterans and our first responders. So
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, in November, my wife and I switched over from our plan to T-Mobile, and literally we've lost nothing as far as our service goes. We've probably gained a few things. We got brand new phones for no cost, and our bill went down $100 a month.
That's
can't complain
great.
about that.
No, you can't complain about that.
T-Mobile, in terms of our relationship with them and what they're doing to help recognize our first responders, their commitment is 100%. I've had many conversations with my chain of command that I deal with T-Mobile, and they are 100% about the first responder or the veteran above what above profit, I guess you would say. They're not so much concerned about signing the contract or selling a phone or whatever. They're concerned, like, what kind of recognition to the first responder can we give? Can we make a difference to that person or these people in their lives above? So they're putting the lives of the first responders and the veterans above profit.
Yes.
And that's something that's pretty rare. A lot of people are all about the money. And in my experience with T-Mobile, dealing with them on a corporate level, they are about how can we make a difference in their lives. And they have been so supportive, not only of the 99% radio network, but Third Watch, and more importantly, the veterans and first responders. They are 100% on board. So I think we need to give them a huge shout out for that.
All right. With that, yes. How about we get into the Mongo log?
Let's do that.
Are we doing the Mongo log first?
Yeah, let's get into the Mongo log. Then let's bring in our.
Hey, because we have Jeff Peters here from Main Street Cigar, and we have Gunnar Kleinbill from the VFW. They're
We've also got caregiver here too.
Is caregiver here?
Yes, he is.
Where's he at?
He's right there at the same table.
There's caregiver. Yeah. All right. watching.
Mongo. Santa Maria.
I'll believe it. If any one of you friends and neighbors kind of gather around and holy shit!
Here comes Mongo.
All right. Well, it was nice having 2 weeks off, but I did have to sit down and do work. I'm a little behind, but I actually got the monologue done for this week, and next week I'm working on the third week. And there's been a lot of stuff going on in the news lately, so this first one I picked on our gun culture. Just what does the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution say, and why was it written this way? You hear this time and again after any shooting incident where a rifle with multiple rounds capacity is used, that we need to outlaw these weapons of war. Our swell-informed politicians tell us that regular citizens and even the police don't need these weapons of war. What exactly is a weapon of war? And is that terminology being used to sensationalize these weapons or just to scare the uninformed public of these scary guns? The really scary term is when they are referred to as black rifles. The weapon of war is exactly that, a weapon, arm or armament, implement or device that can be used with the intent to inflict damage or harm. Weapons are used to increase the efficiency of activities such as hunting, crime, law enforcement, self-defense, and warfare. In broader context, weapons may be construed to include anything used to gain a tactical, strategic, material, or mental advantage over an adversary or enemy target. Depending upon the area of history, weapons have come in all shapes and materials. Weapons of war have evolved through history. Sticks and stones were at one time a popular weapon of war. As time progressed, sharpened sticks made for efficient spears, and then the more advanced bow and arrow weapon delivery system. These weapons were improved upon by adding the high-tech arrowhead fashioned from a sharpened rock. As metal became popular, we reintroduced the stick with metal tips and then metal tip shafts. By arming mankind with swords, large spears, and spike tips, well-equipped armies conquered large swaths of the earth. In 805 AD, the Chinese, quite by accident, invented gunpowder.
805 AD.
805 AD, they invented gunpowder.
How did they know that?
They were actually looking for, I think it was a longevity drug, and they ended up with this gunpowder.
Really?
How they thought that was going to help somebody's health, I'm not sure. Anyhow.
It always amazes me, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it always amazes me, like you go back that far, how you know when that stuff was first developed and how it came to light.
Well, and when I was working SWAT with Burbank PD, we had Doc Wolfer, our resident dentist, reserve police officer, whose father was one of the original LAPD bomb guys. He was our expert, and he gave us a lecture every year on the invention of Chinese gunpowder. It was part of our annual training that we got. So I've been hearing this forever. But
wow!
So now I'm actually using his information.
Nice piece of history.
During the 9th century, they weaponized their gunpowder in the form of fire arrows, gunpowder rockets, Greek fire, bombs, mines, and grenades. The Chinese first weaponized their gunpowder with fire arrows used against the Mongol enemies, not Mongols. The Mongols, on the other hand, learned from the Chinese about their gunpowder and then used it in their conquest of Persia and India. The Europeans got involved, and pretty soon everyone was producing and using the high-tech gunpowder-fueled weapons. At the time, modern weapons of war consisted of guns, bombs, and cannons. Now, in our visit of the evolution of weapons of war, let's fast forward to colonial America. Our revolution and weapons at the time of the writing of our Constitution. During the Revolutionary War, our Continental Army, for the most part, fought with the same weapons as the British. The British slant pattern musket, or more commonly referred to as Brown Bess. Other weapons used by the colonials were the Ferguson rifle, the American long rifle, the pattern 1776 infantry rifle, and various other assorted muzzle-loaded rifles and flintlock-style pistols. You see, we weren't exactly a well-funded army, so oftentimes our colonial soldiers brought their hunting and home defense weapons with them to fight. Now, during the course of battle, they might find an upgraded weapon laying next to a fallen soldier. So if there was no particular sentimental attachment to the weapon they were using, picking up an improved weapon of war was not uncommon. The colonial soldier could discard his hunting rifle and exchange it for a formerly out-of-circulation weapon that he could pick up and put to use. So our founding fathers wrote the U.S. Constitution in 1787, and more specifically the Bill of Rights. The weapons that were in everybody's homes, places of employment, horse-drawn buggies, or slung over their shoulders were the same exact weapons that just recently were used as a weapon of war. So our founding fathers wrote our U.S. Constitution in 1787, and more specifically the Second Amendment, part of the Bill of Rights. When they spoke of arms, they actually were talking about weapons of war, or as some would say when trying to grab a headline, assault weapons. The Second Amendment isn't very long or technical. This is it here. The right to bear arms, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I'll go back to weapons of war shortly. Infringe is defined as to violate, transgress, encroach, or trespass. The definition of militia, as used by our founding fathers, is every man is a militiaman. America's freedom and liberty was established by anti-big government gun owners with unregistered assault weapons. The individual men came together, forming local militias from various states. The Greek philosopher Aristotle proclaimed 2,300 years ago that the prevalence of privately owned weapons was the best indicator of whether a nation was free. It is still a true measure of freedom today. Free men own guns, slaves do not. The United States Code, the laws of Congress, states that in 10 U.S.C. 311A, that the militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age. The United States Supreme Court ruled in U.S. v. Miller that when called into action, the militia was to show up bearing arms supplied by themselves. Black's Law Dictionary defines the militia as the body of citizens in a state, and not troops of a standing army. The militia is distinctly different from the National Guard or the U.S. military forces. Our founding fathers warned that the militia must never be replaced by a standing army. Today, our nation has the world's most powerful military. Untold numbers of government agencies currently carry guns, and most of those have their own SWAT teams. The local police are trained in paramilitary operations. As our founding fathers warned, the demise of the militia and the rise of a standing army would spell the end of freedom and liberty. In March of 2016, the United States Supreme Court held that the Second Amendment extends prima facie to all instruments that constitute bearable arms, even those that were not in existence at the time of the founding. This came out of the Massachusetts case where the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts banned stun guns because they weren't a thing back in the 1700s. There's strong language in this decision that essentially says that 200,000 stun guns in the U.S. are common. It's then hard to believe that 5 million AR-15 style and millions of other semi-automatic rifles are unusual. Stun guns are protected by the Second Amendment, so then are knives, clubs, and future weapons and AR-style rifles. This case lays to rest the idea that courts can simply say anything other than handguns are uncommon or unusual, and therefore exempt from Second Amendment protections. Nuclear weapons are an example of unusual and would be considered uncommon and therefore banned from private person owning one. So essentially, the Second Amendment does not necessarily grant us the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment denies the government the authority to infringe upon our right to bear arms. I choose to be armed. Now, getting back to these scary weapons of war, the mainstream media and our liberal politicians will blame the black semi-automatic assault rifle. They'll tell you that AR stands for assault rifle. That just isn't true. The designation of AR stands for the company that first manufactured this selective fire, air-cooled, gas-operated, magazine-fed rifle, the Armament Rifle Company. In 1959, Armament sold its rights to this rifle design to Colt. Colt improved on the design and developed the military version of this rifle, the M16, for use by our troops in Vietnam. Our troops were using older and heavier weapon systems and carrying enough ammo became problematic. Now, in 1907, anyone can purchase a Winchester Model 1907. You could order one through the Sears catalog and have it delivered via the post office to your home. It was a semi-automatic, high-powered, center-fire rifle with detachable high-capacity magazine. This was about 40 years before World War II. About 400,000 of these weapons were produced and privately owned before World War II. While our soldiers were fighting with bolt-action rifles during the war, civilians had these semi-automatic rifles at home. The AR-15, which was produced in the 1950s, differs from this Winchester in only a couple of ways. The AR is lighter because it has a lot of that scary black plastic, and the AR has that deadly pistol grip. Mind you, pistol grip has nothing to do with the operation of the weapon, but our politicians have designated the pistol grips as part of the problem. The Winchester fires just as rapidly as a large caliber round than the AR, a .351 Winchester round versus a .223. So how is it that America has had assault weapons purchased and delivered through mail order in our homes for over 40 years before our military used these weapons of war in an actual war? Actually 60 years if we take it to the Vietnam, where they were actually in common use by our military, and were really no problem with them. The government actually made these civilian weapons, made these weapons weapons of war. Sorry, let me reread that. The government actually made these civilian weapons, made these weapons weapons of war. Now in the process, the government modified them. They became select fire weapons with a fully automatic function. They don't talk about that too much, but the fully automatic function is not available in the non-military version. They were sporting rifles and home defense systems before the government redesigned them. The media, through mass hysteria, will have you believing that these guns go out and cause havoc on their own. One of our Democratic frontrunners for the candidacy of president stated, "If you need a weapon of war to protect yourself from the government, you'd better go out and get an F-15. You better buy yourself a fighter jet or a bazooka rocket launcher. The idea that an AR-15 is going to protect you from the government, come on." Bazooka Joe is actually right, and he's making our point for us. An AR-15 is not a weapon of war and will not hold up well against one. The Constitution doesn't require reason or rationale for exercising God-given rights, including the right to keep and bear arms. In fact, the Second Amendment was explicitly included in the Bill of Rights so we the people could resist a tyrannical government like the British Crown that took their first hostile act against Americans through the seizure of guns and powder. Robert Francis O'Rourke, a former congressman from El Paso, Texas, and thankfully a former candidate, once vying for the Democratic nomination for president in the upcoming 2020 presidential elections, when asked about government gun confiscation, he honestly and foolishly replied, "Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15. This wasn't just uttered once, then quickly corrected by campaign staffers doing damage control for the candidate's moment of clarity and honesty. Nope, he said this on the campaign trail again and again and on national TV during a Democratic candidate debate. Don't think this was the uttering of a goofy has-been candidate. He was actually congratulated by the other candidates after the debate off the record, because who wants to be on the record as anti-Second Amendment, for having the courage to say out loud what they all felt inside but had the sense not to utter. As one of our founding fathers and author of the U.S. Constitution, as well as our nation's third president famously penned in a letter, the tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It's its natural manure. What is potentially about to occur in Virginia could be the beginning of a bloody revolution. Our Democratic politicians firmly believe that Big Brother knows best. They want to control all aspects of our life and absolutely convinced that if we just surrender to our desire to run our own lives, and our desire to live by the Constitution and constantly enacted laws, that their way will be better for us. Hang on a second, I lost my place. You know what? Did I skip a page?
You may have skipped a
you know what? Here we go. I was going to say, that didn't make sense, the transition there. I got a page stuck, folks. Sorry about that. I'm usually prepared. Where was I? To all. Okay, here we go. To all politicians, be careful what you ask for and how you plan to take it. During World War II, Japanese Admiral Yamamoto was quoted as saying, "You cannot invade the mainland United States. It would be a rifle behind every blade of grass." Currently, there are close to 270 million firearms in this country. There are approximately 55 million law-abiding armed men and women in this country. They comprise the largest armed militia in the world. If there were a common enemy, these numbers would be nearly insurmountable. Unfortunately, the enemy will be factions of the government. Will elements of our police force decide to forcibly confiscate weapons potentially in violation of the Constitution? Will the National Guard step in? The military? This whole seizure of guns episode is going to be dirty, bloody, and messy. The potential for good people on both sides of the debate to be injured or killed is real. Our idiot politicians should stand back and ask themselves if this is the path of unnecessary domestic violence is worth what they think it will accomplish. I was listening to a pro-Second Amendment attorney talking about the potential trouble brewing in Virginia with regard to citizens just surrendering their weapons to the state and not forcing an armed confrontation. That would just be a kowtow to the government. By not surrendering your weapons, he explained, you'll lose the ride, end up in jail, but ultimately win the case. Here's what you need to consider when it comes to your right to possess a firearm or your decision to own a firearm. Although the government says the police will take care of us, they cannot. The courts have ruled time and time again that the police have no duty to protect. The police collect evidence of crimes after they've occurred. You can't expect to make a 911 call while you're being beaten, raped, stabbed, or shot. We can call the police after a crime has been perpetrated, but nationwide the average police response time is 12 minutes. We can't stop criminals from accessing guns no matter what. Alcohol prohibition did not work for drug prohibition. Alcohol prohibition did not work. Drug prohibition isn't working. Gun laws only apply to those willing to follow them. Making guns harder to access or illegal to access only limits the law-abiding citizen from accessing them. A law-abiding citizen has to obtain their firearms legally. In some states, there's a 3 to a 2-week waiting period. There's a background check involved, and the prices are usually pretty high. The criminal, on the other hand, can purchase an illegal firearm in a matter of minutes and usually at a reduced rate. Nationally, a firearm is used about 200 times in self-defense for each time one is used in a homicide. We are safer with them legally carried in our society than without them. Disarming the victims does not make our society any safer. Many people will point to the Japanese and use their society as an example of how peaceful our society can be without guns. Believe me, even if magically all guns in America disappeared today, we would not be a peaceful society that Japan is. It's not the guns, it's the culture, and we have way too many problems to even imagine being like them. As I'm writing this, now keep in mind I wrote this 2 weeks ago. As I'm writing this, I'm reading on my news feed of the shooting inside a church outside of Fort Worth. A gunman with a shotgun killed 2 and wounded a 3rd while taking communion. Initial reports say the gunman was taken down by other church members and he has suffered a gunshot wound. From the sounds of things, an armed citizen took action before the police were called. Now I'm adding this as part of my monologue. Several days later after the incident, a parishioner who was standing at the rear of the congregation drew his sidearm and from across the room, I must have been tired while I was taping this. From across the room, delivered one headshot to the gunman, killing him and ending the threat and saving an untold number of other parishioners. A video of the incident also shows at least half a dozen other concealed carry parishioners drawing their weapons and advancing on the threat. Now, this threat took out 2 victims and was killed himself in a matter of 6 seconds. Remember I said earlier that the national average for a police response is 12 minutes. Imagine the damage this gunman could have wreaked in 12 minutes. This ended in 6 seconds. When the gunman in Sutherland Springs, Texas, entered the church with an AR-15 and killed 26 and wounded another 20, a neighbor of the church came outside his home barefooted with his own AR-15. He was able to hit the gunman, who was protected with body armor, and eliminate the threat. Score another victory for a well-armed, law-abiding citizen who met a threat from a mentally disturbed individual. This disturbed gunman, by law, was not allowed to own or possess a firearm. He had a domestic violence conviction as well as a court-martial while enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. So there have been clear cases of someone who is mentally disturbed who by law could not possess a firearm in possession of an AR-15, a sporting rifle that the military patterned one of our current military weapons after, armed and filled with the intent to do harm. He entered the church and began killing soft targets. The police did not end this threat, an armed citizen did. Biden's reaction to this whole incident was predictable. A woman asked the Democratic Party's position on gun control when the shooter was taken out by a legally armed citizen. His response was, well, first of all, that kind of gun being carried by him shouldn't be carried. I wrote the last serious gun control law, and it outlawed assault weapons and outlawed weapons with magazines that held a whole lot of bullets so you could kill a whole lot of people a whole lot more quickly. He continued to answer, going on by saying that they've saved lives by keeping guns out of the hands of tens of thousands of people. The more restrictive gun laws that the Democrats continue to devise accomplish keeping guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. Unless we return to muzzle-loaded flintlock pistols, most guns today, revolvers or auto-fire pistols, are all capable of firing multiple rounds without being reloaded. He recommended to his constituents, as well as his wife, to get a double-barreled shotgun, not an AR-15. Hey, Uncle Joe, do you realize that shotguns fire with a kick that makes it a lot more difficult for the fire to fire for many, especially women, who may be surprised by the kick? Robert Francis, and I refuse to call him by his nickname.
Masturbator?
Yeah, whatever. Beto. Robert Francis said in response to the recent church shooting that our gun laws in Texas aren't working. Actually, Beetlejuice, it's just the opposite. Because our Governor Abbott signed a law allowing guns to be carried in our houses of worship. The law worked exactly as it was hoped to work. The terminology of assault weapon and weapons of war are expressions that are made up because they elicit the correct reaction from focus groups. The liberal media, the politicians continue to utter these words because eventually it becomes part of our culture. You see it on TV, in the movies with our favorite celebrity actors using these terms. Eventually everyone is using these words and terms, and we are becoming programmed. Remember I spoke about the Winchester 1907, a rifle just as effective as a deadly and even more advanced than an actual weapon of war? How is it this weapon platform was as common as a TV set in American homes, but there were no mass shootings with weapons of war? The mass shootings have nothing to do with the gun and everything to do with our society. I will be covering this in a separate monologue, so I'll leave it there. Our society has become too politically correct and permissive, and we make too many excuses for ourselves and each other. As much as I respect the police and the job they do, I feel safer in my home with my friends from Glock, Smith & Wesson, Colt, Remington, Ruger, Taurus, and their ilk. Mongo is out.
Good job, brother.
Wow, that was longer than I thought.
That was a long one. That was a long one. I was just telling the
That was a long
caregiver that you put the amount of work that you put into these things is amazing, and I don't think we always get good comments about the Mongo logs. I don't think people realize how much time and effort you put into researching them and pulling facts. And
that's the problem.
Even though it's your damn opinion, it's fact based, and you do a good job. Hats off to you, brother.
We get a lot of good feedback on the Mongo log. Yes, it is a little long, but it's precise, it's correct, and there's a couple of things I want to touch on because I think you've hit on a part of the Mongo log that is in society right now. Take in case Virginia right now.
Right.
All right. Virginia's going through a lot of Second Amendment right violations, where someone's going to have to answer for this, and there's going to be a lot of issues that are going to surround this. And then we talk about the church shooting, where I saw a lot of feedback, and I got a lot of feedback on my posts from the church shooting regarding. He was a well-trained FBI guy who took out the shooter from about 20 feet away. I grant you that. Yes, he had a perfect shot. He was well-trained. But if you look at all those other 6 or 7 people that pulled their weapons, the restraint that they shows that they were well-trained. They were not just some gun-happy individuals looking to kill somebody. They pulled out their weapons in a precise manner to protect and make sure the threat was eliminated.
Right. They advanced on the threat, but they didn't start firing their guns into the air just because shots were being fired.
Now,
I'm pretty sure that's because the first guy to fire a shot drilled them. And,
the problem is the media would have you believe that if people are carrying guns, they're going to pop up with a gun and start firing rounds into the air, and who knows who's going to get shot.
Yep.
They were looking for their target.
Right.
Yep.
Here you had 6 or 7 individuals, after the threat was eliminated, 6 or 7 individuals pulled their gun, advanced in a proper manner. All right. Now, these people had no police training. Maybe they had some target practice. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But even one of the females, there was an older female lady in that congregation who drew her gun, and she advanced as well. Nobody popped off any more rounds, and everything was eliminated within 6 seconds. So if you look at the position that assailant had during the initial 2 shots that he fired, he had a perfect advantage of taking out 10 to 12 people within the first 30 seconds.
Yep.
Because what did everybody do? Not everybody ran.
They ducked.
They went between the pews, which makes you a sitting duck in a shooter situation. You have to get up and flee, no matter what. They all took cover. They buckled down underneath those wooden pews, and they were sitting ducks. So all that assailant had to do was just start taking shots at all those elderly people that were in the front row, and easily 10 to 12 people could have been assassinated within the first 30 seconds of that gunfight.
I think we're missing something really obvious here too, though, and that's this. Mongo's been involved in several shootings. We've all been involved in at least one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the people in that church, when you see, all of us can attest to this, when you see that happen in real life, it's not pleasant. It's very stressful. Everything, it's a stressful situation.
Right.
You can do that. those people in that church, within just a few seconds, okay, nobody cowered. Those that chose, maybe they were the only people armed, maybe they weren't.
Out to advise first responders of an incident.
I don't know.
So, at what point does somebody make that phone call if that first shooter didn't take the bad guy out?
Right.
Yeah.
So, how many shots is this guy going to get off? How many innocent victims is he going to put down before the cops are even called? Now the timer starts.
Yeah.
Now you're on that 12-minute timer. Maybe you get sooner, maybe you get later. That's an average.
And that church was like 6-7 miles west of DFW, so it's just reasonable. On a Sunday morning, it's reasonable to assume it's going to take the cops a few minutes to get there.
Right.
Nobody panicked. They did exactly what I would have done if I'd have been there, or you would have done, or you would have done. They responded appropriately. Joe Biden can suck. He can suck it. Okay, he is so wrong in his assertion that it's those people did everything right, and thank God for them.
They did. All right, so
It's my opinion.
That's your opinion, and you're 100% right.
Yeah,
you're 100% right.
Hey, one of our guests here is running for the sheriff of Dallas County. Let's hold that question. Let's ask him when he comes up, or let's ask him what the hell what he thinks professional.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry, buddy.
You're 100%. You're 100% right. Everybody acted in such a professional manner that you would think they were law enforcement the way they did it.
We're all old farts, retired, and come from a different era. Let's ask somebody that's in this era. Let's ask him what he would have done.
All right.
So let's hold that.
All right. Let's hold that. Let's hold that at bay right now. But let's introduce our guest.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Our guest.
Our guest, caregiver.
Yeah.
With the V-Rock, founder and CEO of the V-Rock and Life's Message.
And I will say he's also wearing the cut from Third Watch. He's one of our directors.
I am.
You don't see that very often,
really
but thank
new.
you very much.
Chris,
It looks all like clean and new and not wrinkled or nothing.
Maybe I
What's
take
not
care
broken in?
So
He's got too
Can I
many
take it
hats,
from
but he's
here?
wearing his
yeah,
vest.
Dad.
So we have caregiver here today, which I'm really happy in, and caregiver's here for a reason. You want to know why?
Tell me.
Okay.
Enlighten us.
I'm going to tell you. So, when we started #WalkTheBridge, our objective was to raise awareness about the epidemic of veteran and first responder suicide. And we started out with 12, 15 people when we started 15 months or so ago,
October, right? In October.
Okay. So, but one of the things that we also wanted to do as a result of that, not only raise awareness, but we wanted to provide solutions. We wanted to provide options for veterans and first responders that suffer from PTIs, PTSD, whatever they call it, right? That's what we wanted to do. So between October of 2017, when we first stepped on that bridge, and today, a number of people begin to step up. And as we go further down the road, we'll be talking more about it, but we're going to talk specifically about our veteran community right now, because that's one of the first responders and veterans. So while we were walking the bridge, raising awareness and bringing, I think it's fair to say, pressure to bear on our government entities, because we talked to the city of Raleigh, we talked to our state reps and whatnot, caregiver, wearing his hat as founder of Life Message and director of the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, was working to bring the pieces in place to provide answers and solutions, to be able to provide things for our veterans, counseling.
Exactly what Walk the Bridge was all about.
Exactly. So,
Exactly what Walk the
welcome,
Bridge was all
caregiver.
about.
Let's just talk about
Let's
that.
talk about that.
yeah,
So
and-
tell us.
What I like is, a lot of things were being done, and a lot of people didn't see this who walk the bridge every month. A lot of things were being done behind the scenes. All right, so everybody's voices were being heard, and caregiver Chris Cigar with the V-Rock is one of those people that was working diligently behind the scenes and putting together programs. And like I said in the beginning of the show, they've helped over 200 veteran families. He took on this task and laid the groundwork for up-and-coming programs.
Absolutely.
So, Chris, let us know a little bit about what you did with these programs.
All right. Well, thanks for the invite today.
Always.
We are always
I got to speak louder.
really got to speak louder.
Yeah.
You have to, like,
louder.
Background.
Project your voice.
I am very
Throw it out
mild-mannered
there.
usually, but I'll do my best. So
All right.
hopefully we can hear that. So we are looking for the answers to the awareness, which we continue to do. We have now, this year, since we kicked up the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, have begun bringing those programs in. And we need to let the public know that in addition to the awareness, now comes answers. So with that, we've stepped up the program list, if you will. One with the Counseling Institute of Texas is one. So they actually bring in now counselors for us to actually have one-on-ones with the veterans at our facility. It's the attempt.
They are there throughout the day?
2 days a week.
2 days a week?
They are there as well. So Angela, is she coming? No, she'll be at the Walk the Bridge.
She'll be at Walk the Bridge.
So that number has continued to climb for her, which we're very excited about, where she will continue to bring a counseling component to those veterans and their families who need that assistance. And we also have now partnered with Step One. Step One is also with the partnering with the Military Veterans Peer Network. I don't always get that right, but to do various workshops. So we're going to list a few of these workshops out so we can let them know what they are. We have one coming up this month as well. One is called Talk Saves. One is QPR, which is Questions, Persuades, Refer. One is CALM, which is Counseling on Access to Lethal Means. Then there's a Moral Inquiry class, and then the Military Cultural Competency class. The one coming up this month is under the QPR class. Again, understand that all these classes and one-on-ones are intended to address that PTS component that we are in such need of trying to solve. It's not, we have so many programs that go on in the actual facility as its own, like for writing claims and so forth, but these two program hookups that was done through one of our program directors, which again give him the kudos for that part of it, which is Chris Bunkoff, continues to be fully focused on these particular needs, so that when we're out discussing to the public that we are providing solutions, not just awareness.
Now,
So-
for a veteran that doesn't know, what's the cost to the veteran that comes in for these programs?
So all costs are zero.
Zero
So
cost.
anything and everyone that comes into Life Message or to the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, thanks for asking, is all zero. There's no cost.
See, and let me just bring up the microphone real quick here. I just want to reiterate what Caregiver just said. Now, most places, if you're a veteran and you're having issues and you need to talk to somebody, you have to go to the VA. All right, so you can spend hours at the Veterans Hospital waiting on a counselor, waiting for approval, waiting for all this. Okay, here at the VROC, the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, you just walk in and say, "Hey, I need to speak to somebody." To go a step further on that, your family can come into the VROC and say, "Hey, I feel he has an issue." And they will bring a counselor to help the family out, something that the VA does not do. The VA will not help a family in need. They will help out the veteran, but they won't just open up their doors to the family on a special request. On a special request. You guys, the VROC, the doors are always open and a counselor is there for the family, for the veteran, which is above and beyond what most do.
And we hope through this continuing awareness piece. Can you not hear me? Is that the deal? I'm just too quiet. Put that thing right
You're
here.
good.
And if you guys get that thing
Just want to
worked
make sure
out,
everybody can hear what he's saying.
Speaking to the ball.
the blue ball.
The
That's
white ball.
White ball.
White ball.
The blue ball that's
Blue
white.
balls are bad. White balls okay.
You're hilarious. I would not have gone there.
So, just to reiterate on that, there are a lot of veterans, families out there, and we bring this up in our workshop, is that A lot of families do not know how to deal with someone who is suffering from PTSD, recently coming back from deployment. They don't know how to react to certain situations. And what happens is a family member could use words such as trigger words that could set somebody off in the wrong direction. So the counselors here at the V-Rock are trained to help you get through this and make it an easy transition. So again, I'm sorry, Chris.
That's quite right. So, and again, it's kind of the, to be able to recognize the symptoms of that is important. Obviously that's a big part of trying to be able to diagnose someone, is to be able to see what that is. And we have those classes as well. We've actually had the VA out to us to try to make us aware of how and what we should be looking for. Obviously the QPR piece, I want to read this part of it, is actually sponsored by 22 Kill. As people trained in QPR learn how to recognize the warning signs of a suicide crisis.
Now let me ask you something. With that being said, Chris, do you find that a lot of people out there are not recognizing the signs or misdiagnosing the signs?
I would say if you're looking for it, then you have a better chance of trying to diagnose it. If you're not looking for it, like probably most aren't,
right.
All they see is something's wrong. They
right.
just don't know what they should be doing about it. So unfortunately, I think it's kind of a combination of both of those.
So you should so if you're married to us or your spouse is a first responder or a veteran, you should educate yourself in some of these
That's what we think.
Programs to become aware, because you may not be knowledgeable enough to see those signs.
There's two components to that. One is recognizing it, and the other is doing something about it. And both of these interpretations are what we are bringing now in the V-Rock. The ability to be able to understand what it is you're looking for, and then how to treat it. And that's the component that, again, still, I don't want to call it in its infancy, but it really is in its infancy. Of all the things we began bringing in, this is the most heightened one on our plans for 2020, is how are we going to address this particular component. With bringing in multiple now counselors for us over this year, that will be able to, what you mentioned a while ago, easily handle as they walk in the door. Though we will address that every day if they come in the door, but the counselor is not there every single day yet.
But the counselors that you have on staff are able to recognize
and treat.
Initially diagnose, treat.
Yes.
But this is not this is not long term. This is to get them into programs and to give them resources outsourced, or could they do this long term with those certain psychologists that you have on staff?
We're looking to do it here.
Okay.
In the V-Rock.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We sometimes find ourselves having to send them out as a resource, but the reality of it is, no, we want them here.
You want them here to be treated.
We want to be treated because there's no other real components out here on the east side that address this today. We want what could otherwise be considered a cradle to grave.
Oh, okay.
The ability to bring in, recognize, and treat these particular needs within our veterans.
Long term.
That's what we're looking for. That part is very amazing. So,
and that's not an easy thing to do.
Awesome.
That's not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of mechanical parts that go through that. So it's a step-by-step process.
Well, it does take some time. I would say that we've made huge strides in the first year we've been over there. And today, to be able to address this on the level of bringing in actual counselors on site, to me, that is monumental.
Yes.
And so for us to be able to start providing that longer term answer is what we need to be sure and tell the world. This is one of the reasons I'm here today, is to start that process to remind them. I mean, from my third watch hat that I wear, obviously the awareness component has been part of our plan for quite some time. But the actual solution part of that has required us to get the V-Rock moving and get it up and get it positioned, which we are today.
So if somebody who's listening to the show right now, family member, veteran, first responder, you're having issues, you're having thoughts, you're having whatever anger issues, or you're feeling that you have no one to talk to. What is that first step with the V-Rock to get themselves inside the doors and to talk to a counsel?
Well, preferably walk in the door.
Just walk in the
Just
door.
walk in the door. Once inside there, you'll be greeted by a person who actually has some insight as to how that works. They will basically visit with you quickly to find out what the need is. At that point in time, we will get you registered into our system and find out exactly where and who we can point you to. And again, depends on the time of day and who they are looking for. Again, we have everything from a DAV component that's there 5 days a week to now the counseling component. Then we have the workshops are also days and nights and weekends throughout the week. And then, of course, are the other needs. If you have basic things like you need something done to your house, or something that maybe you need food, or maybe you need transportation, maybe you need some kind of housing overnight or something, then those are handled right then. So we just have to get them in the door.
Right.
And
And he listen. The lady that he's brought in, Angela Naki, is through CIT. She's a veteran. She's been around the world. She understands veterans. She understands what veterans go through. For the very first person to come into the VROC to serve as a psychologist and help our veterans, couldn't have picked a better person. This person is top notch in her, not only her education, but her understanding of what veterans go
she's
through.
been in his shoes.
Because she's been in it, and this, to bring this component to Raleigh and the surrounding area, to me is a huge accomplishment. To start from just walking with 15 people to bring awareness to making, hey, we have a solution to this problem. Here, it's not the total solution, but it's helping.
It's helping.
It's a part of it. We have someone that can begin to address these issues for Raleigh, for Garland, for Rockwall, for Greenville, for Royce City, and all of this area east of Dallas. It's a huge thing. It's huge.
Let me just stop you right there for a minute, 12, because I don't want to confuse everybody. The VROC has no borders.
No borders.
No borders. So it doesn't matter what city you are from, what state you're from. You are welcome at the VROC.
you are welcome.
Okay, you are welcome there. So, yes, you may be in a close community between Garland and Raleigh and Rockwall, but if you are from California, if you are from New York, if you are from North Dakota, if you're from Louisiana, and you can get to the VROC, those doors are open to you. There's no border control on the Veterans Resource Outreach Center. And I'm going to give you a second to grab a pen, because I want you to take down the address of the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, and we will tag it on our program today. And that's going to be 4210 Industrial Boulevard in Raleigh, Texas. That's 4210 Industrial Boulevard in Raleigh, Texas. If you put in the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center in Raleigh, Google Maps will bring you right there.
Exactly.
So, if you do need that help, if you do need to speak to somebody, if you just have questions on what should I do, this is the place to get answers.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I didn't want to cut you off, but
No, good job. Because I was gonna make sure I give the address to them. Put the card up there so they can see it. If you're on the Facebook Live piece. So, but we really are very, very blessed. We're very excited, and we want to get that word out to everyone to know. I mean, Life Message is much broader than just the VROC.
Right.
But for the purpose of this conversation, we really are extremely ready for 2020 and what we're going to bring to our table with us. So.
And on the 22nd
Okay.
at Walk the Bridge, you're
Yes.
going to be there. Chief Mike Godfrey from the Raleigh Police Department, he's going to be there addressing the mental health wellness program for the city of Raleigh and Raleigh's first responders. You're going to be there talking about what we're doing for the veterans.
Angela will be
there. And Angela Naki will be there as well. This is exciting because
It's very exciting.
we there's a lot going on. You have done, the VROC has done tremendous work to address this particular issue. Not only are we raising awareness, but we're providing solutions. They're putting the pieces in place. The 99% Radio Network is spreading the word. Third Watch is supporting. Many other groups and organizations are supporting this as well. The DAV, the Lake Ray Hubbard Detachment of the Marine Corps League, DAV Post 137, American Legion. There's a whole bunch of people that are involved in this process. Bottom line is for Rowlett, with Rowlett as the hub, we're offering solutions for veterans and first responders that are suffering from PTIs. You, Sideshow, Samantha Horowitz, Jeff Freeman are going out as a kind of a, it's all connected. I don't
Actually,
know, an offshoot.
we're doing a workshop
over in Rockwell. Yeah.
February 29th. Well, we have
Yeah.
our first workshop on January 29th at the Rockwell District Attorney's Office, and that's a free workshop.
Yep.
And then on February 29th, we will be doing that same workshop over at the V-Rock, which we're very excited to help you out and do that. Now, Chris, one thing with the V-Rock and the veterans and our first responders, Life Message has been in existence for over 20 years.
22 years this year.
22 years.
This year.
You and your family have provided so much for so many in the community. I know we discussed the V-Rock. Let's talk a little bit about Life's Message and what else you provide through both these ventures that you've developed.
Life Message is its primary piece has been a hunger relief organization. We have been in Raleigh with that facility now for 8 years, and this year we will assist roughly around 160,000 people.
160,000 people. You can feed 160,000.
Yes, we currently are feeding well in excess of over 800 families a week out of that facility. Wow. With that, we'll provide additional things of need, being if you need toiletries, something like that, or you need clothes, we'll provide that for you as well. Again, no borders, so they can come from everywhere. We currently serve 55 cities throughout our network. 36 of them come to Rowlett. We have the 24 other impact partners that we have that help us in part of our message, and with that kind of covered up the 19, if you will. So we, all inclusively, they bring in from all over the Metroplex to our facility there in Rowlett.
See, and one thing I like about Life's Message is, a lot of people have pride, okay, and they don't want to ask for a handout. They don't want to go to a facility and ask for food. Life's Message has done something kind of unique, and you don't make anybody feel that they're in need.
That's right.
You have the place set up almost as a shopping center, where they come in, they register, and it's a real quick registration.
Everyone's approved.
Everybody's approved, and you go and you pick out your stuff, and that's it. It's as simple as going to the grocery store.
And you can come in every week, like going to the grocery store.
Right, and that's how easy you make it.
And with that, we specialize more in the nutritional components, so lots and lots of produce. But they will all get produce and meat and bread, desserts, dry goods, all the components you might need to assist your family. It doesn't supply for your entire family for an entire week, but it does help offset it. You usually will get 80 or 90 pounds a week to come in. That's a lot of food.
That's a lot of food.
And so
now, on Sundays it's more for senior citizens?
No, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we're open to the basic public. Thursdays are for senior citizens only.
Okay. So
Tuesdays are our kind of recoup and restock, if you will. But they can come in, it's from 12 until 4. You probably need to get there a little early probably, but we try to suggest that you don't have to quite get there at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But we start distributing from 12 o'clock. So it's kind of the aspects of getting a full-blown kind of shopping moment, if you will, but just, you don't get quite the Walmart, syndrome in there, but it's pretty close.
So this is what is exciting about that. They do this so that people in need, I've been in there, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's like going to a small-town grocery store, okay? It doesn't make you feel bad. It's designed to... It doesn't ding your pride, okay? Right. It's like going to a very small town grocery store, and people go in there. You're not going to feel bad. because you might have to get a hand up. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like you're literally going to your neighborhood, your corner grocery store.
Yep.
And I think it's done that way on purpose, right? It's so no one feels.
It's important to remind them that you're kind of just part of the family.
Yeah.
So when you get down there, it really is about just giving you that moment, because sometimes that's, again, pride is a big issue.
Pride's a big issue.
And you can lose all that when you walk in that door.
Right.
The fact that we have so many volunteers, over 6,200 last year
6,200 volunteers.
in the Raleigh facility. You talk about 17,000 hours of time.
Wow.
And a lot of it is consistency of people that come in, and so they all get to know you. So as the same core, 8 to 10 to 12 volunteers that come in, get to know all the people, it's a comforting environment to know that when you walk in, you're not amongst a bunch of strangers all the time.
Right.
And it's all about fulfilling that need. So I think that's the thing you need to always walk away from, is that the environment at life message is one that is of family nature for you. And you're always going to get help. You're going to have a big smile. You want that meet and greet when you walk in, and know that you're going to get the solutions that you need today.
So there's no reason that anybody should go hungry.
Never in our world. So
You know,
everyone needs to come down.
Right. There's no reason you should go hungry. If you're in need of a meal, you get down to Life's Message. And what's the address of Life's Message?
Address is not the same. It's 4501
4501
Rowlett Road
Rowlett Road
in the city, of course, of Rowlett.
in the city of Rowlett.
So basically at the corner of Rowlett Road and Century. It's next door to the police station.
Okay.
So
Right next to the Rowlett Police Department. Go to Life's Message. Nobody should go hungry. Go there. And they can direct you for other services as well.
absolutely, we are a resource center as well.
You're also a resource center. Chris, I can't thank you and your family enough for everything you provide, especially with the Walk the Bridge and all of the behind-the-scenes work that you have been doing and the VROC has been
Appreciate
doing
that.
to get these programs in place, along with 12. I know 12 has been working tirelessly within the VROC
He sure has.
to pave this road and put us in the right direction to help people.
And I'll tell you, the 99% regular network, the VROC is proud to be a sponsor. You guys do a great job. You got a great reach, and of course from the motorcycle part of me, from my caregiver component, if you will, you guys just do a great job. You should be told that every now and then by somebody else besides somebody that's like, here. But
Hey, speaking of reach, Germany says hi.
well, hello, Germany.
It's Chris Germany, but
That's his name.
it's
Germany.
Germany
We could
nonetheless.
just say Germany. It sounds really good, right?
It sounds great.
Chris Germany is a phenomenal comedian who is going to be part of the Iron First Responder comedy show that we got coming up January 18th.
Yeah.
Chris Germany he's a phenomenal guy.
He's funny.
He's funny. He's ex-wrestler, so you don't want to screw with him. So looking forward to January 18th to seeing him.
So, caregiver, thank you much, brother, for coming in.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
All
This
of
is
you
this is
guys.
what's
Thanks
great.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, shook your hands. Thanks a lot, guys.
This is
we really
what
do appreciate it.
This is what's great is that the VROC, the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, caregiver, Chris Cigar, that whole crew, providing solutions to the problem. Not just raising awareness now, but we've moved on to providing solutions. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Very much
Gotta
appreciated.
get-
All
take
right.
care.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care, buddy.
Yo,
All right, see you later.
Well, you hit it pretty much when you just said, amongst raising awareness, there are a group of people that have to raise awareness. There are a group of people that have to have that voice to do that awareness
I'm not.
yell. And then you have people like Chris and the VROC who now take the awareness and they move it forward. They have the resources, they have the connection to move it forward. And then, now we can bring the healing in with the mental health experts that are part of the VROC now. So that is a full circle of making a difference and really trying to help people out with their PTSI throughout the community. So once again, hats off to the VROC, Chris Cigar and his family for a wonderful job they're doing.
Yep.
12 to you. your tireless efforts throughout Third Watch, Walk the Bridge, and also at the V-Rock.
So,
and I'll just say real quick too, as far as Life Message goes, they also have a nice thrift shop there. I tend to buy most of my furniture secondhand. They've always got a good supply of furniture and knickknacks. So if you're not looking for food, but you're just looking for secondhand furniture, they've got a nice little shop right there. It's worth checking out.
absolutely. So, do we have time to take a quick commercial break?
Yes, we will.
Please, before we welcome Jeff Peters from Main Street Cigar Company.
All right. So right now we're just going to take a little
Quick
break,
commercial break.
quick commercial break, and we'll be back after this.
Should we follow him in the head with a live camera?
Yeah, you guys, you're on break.
What's up, brother?
brother?
How are you? Let me pour around that side.
How's
it going, brother?
Loving it. How you guys?
Good. What's up, T-Dog?
Good to see you, brother.
I'm sorry? I'm good right now, thanks. Jeff, how you doing? All right, well, it looks like I'm alone at the table with no partners, but our next guest, Jeff Peters, is here from Main Street Cigar. Or not on?
No, we're not on.
Oh, that's good.
Looks like I'm alone and not on.
We're not on yet. We're still. We're still.
They playing commercials?
Yeah, we're still in that commercial. After this song, once 12 gets back, then we'll just bring it back in. So then I'm gonna. What's up, Jeff?
How you doing?
Thanks for showing up.
All the way from New York.
All the way to New York. I just got here this morning.
My buddy's been here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Back in. I'll bring you back in and put the music on.
All right, now we're back live on the air after our original music from the Three Drunk Monkeys. Our next guest is Jeff Peters from Main Street Cigar. Welcome, Jeff. Thank you for coming in.
How you doing, Jeff?
Good, guys. How are you doing?
Very happy to have you here today.
That's because I brought free cigars.
Well, yeah.
No, not only that, but
that's a reason.
that's
too.
a plus.
Mongo, I love your honesty.
Did you tell him that?
Hey, I say it like it is.
All right,
I've
that's
got no
true.
filters.
All right.
We talked while you were gone.
That's right. Oh well.
So Jeff is one of our co-sponsors with Smokes and Spokes every year. We've done 2 successful events. It's getting bigger every year. We're looking forward to year 3, but we're glad to have him on the show. We like to hang out at his shop and smoke cigars and BYOB and enjoy our time there. He is a very good host. It's a good facility. So tell us about your business, Jeff.
You know, it's pretty simple. Cigars was a passion of mine, so I just decided to open a shop. I didn't know I was buying myself a job,
But it's okay. I mean, the people that we've met have been incredible. I mean, look what we did. We got the car shows. We got our 2nd-year anniversary coming up in March. We've got a couple events scheduled the next few weeks. You know, and it's just meeting people. You know, it's just a good place to go and hang out.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, and we come there frequently, we are on a regular basis, is the family atmosphere that you've established at Main Street Cigar Company. You have, you know, big plush couches. You have a very comfortable environment. You have the big screen TVs. You have the porch area outside. People are coming in and out into the humidor buying cigars, hanging out. You have lockers in the back that people can put, you know, for BYOB, for whiskey and whatnot. And it's just, and not just men, it's men and women that come in there, and it's really a very friendly family type atmosphere. How did you do that?
Open the doors. And
by design, right?
Yeah,
Was it by design?
You know, we just wanted something comfortable, you know, because you got different types of cigar lounges. Some of them are dumps and some of them are high end. And, you know, we wanted to be in the middle. So just make it where people could come in and enjoy themselves, you know. And the patio, I think, is one of our best things. You know, we keep it heated in the winter. We keep it cool a little bit in the summer. It's hard to find something like that. I think we got the best patio
I
out
actually
there.
really enjoy the patio because you have the outside patio, then you have the inside covered patio with the heaters inside with a TV. Play TV, watch games, listen to music, keep it off, but you can stay warm while you're inside there. You can still be outside and be inside at the same time. I enjoy the outside patio.
Yeah, we get probably our most compliments on that.
So, your wife, Shannon, is not here with you today, but how much influence did she have on making it? Because you're kind of crusty, to be honest with you. You're a bit crusty. But Shannon is friendly, so how much influence did she have on making, on helping influence that atmosphere? Like, you know, it really is. People like to come and hang out there. We like to come and hang out there.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely the pretty face of the place. It sure as heck isn't me or you. You know, but she liked, you know, when I first met her, she was, you know, she smoked cigars, but not as many as she does now, obviously. But, you know, having enough knowledge on that and knowing something about cigars and just being personable. It's all about being personable.
Talk louder. People are saying talk louder. Yeah, me talk louder so they can hear you. So you're going to celebrate your 2-year anniversary in March. What day in March?
14th.
Have you got some big plans for that?
Not at all, but I will start soon.
Okay.
We'll do something. We'll probably have a barbecue cook-off and a band and, you know, the standard stuff
Standard
that we
stuff?
do.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. You know, the lot across the street sold.
Oh, it did, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So that'll affect next year, won't it?
Yeah, I'm a little
Or
nervous
this
about
year.
that. I think we'll have to work on the city to get Main Street closed.
Get Main Street closed off. So what Jeff is referring to is Smokes and Spokes, and our club, Third Watch, started the idea of Smokes and Spokes, which is a big car and bike show on Main Street in Raleigh that we have every October. And we went to Jeff because we go there and we hang out at his shop and ask him if he would like to be a part of it. And the whole purpose of that is to benefit not only Rowlett veterans, but veterans all across North Texas, everything basically east of Dallas. And Jeff, right away, without hesitation, jumped in and said, what can I do to make this a quality event? And we've done it the last 2 years. We've had a band, the people that play our opening music, Three Drunk Monkeys, have come out. We just had some great crowds. It was much bigger this year than it was last year. Dallas Harley Davidson came on as a sponsor. Indian was there.
Indian Motorcycle,
we just kept it.
Here's a little inside baseball information on Jeff. He went to Burbank and purchased one of the original Batmobiles.
Batmobiles, that's
and
right.
That vehicle's on display at our Smokes and Spokes every year. But yeah, Jeff actually owns the Batmobile.
Have you seen his Bat Cave?
I've not seen the Bat Cave.
Is it all done now?
It's almost 90%.
He has the Batmobile parked in a replica Bat Cave. It's pretty damn cool. Yeah.
Where else would you keep it?
Well, you got to keep the Batmobile in the Bat Cave. Hell yeah.
The one thing that was really cool this year that I know we got a lot of response on was the big car chase down Main Street.
Oh, when we ended it with Batman and
yes.
Barney Fife.
Yeah, a lot of people really enjoyed that whole car chase. And if you go onto the Main Street Cigar website, you'll see that, and they put the Batman music together on it, and it really is a fun-filled day that that even Garland Police got no
Raleigh.
Police
And
got
then we
it.
had the Heroes people.
Yeah, you had
Kids got
you had the Batmobile being chased by
Barney.
what, a 1964
The
Ford
Mayberry
Fairlane, the
Mayberry police
Mayberry
car.
police car, and Barney Fife, Heroes, Cops, and Kids, and the Raleigh Police Department in pursuit down Main Street.
Yeah,
it
and
was
then
pretty
a
good.
friend of ours, one of our members there, he did all the dubbing and made the music
It
and made
came
a
out
nice
great.
little.
It really
it was
came
an awesome
out
video.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And just to give a shout out to Heroes, Cops, and Kids with their barricade police car, and to Joe Morrow with the Omega Gamma Delta Group Foundation organization, who brought the Barney Fife mobile
you know
there.
Joey?
I know Joey well. Yeah,
Known Joey for years.
Yeah, I know Joey pretty
Yeah.
well. Me and him are brothers in our Omega Gamma Delta fraternity.
Okay.
I'm part of his fraternity, and yeah, me and Joey go back a couple of years. Him and his crooked picky.
So, you brought some cigars with you. What led you, and you were all about the same age, what led you into having a cigar lounge in Raleigh, Texas?
Well, the thing about cigar lounges, you want them to be as far apart from each other as possible without intruding on somebody else's space. And at the time, you got one in Richardson, you got one in Rockwall, you got one in Plano. There was one in Rowlett. I didn't really pay attention to it. It didn't have a lot of seating, so I didn't feel like I was going to encroach in their neighborhood too much, because we came in with, right off the bat, 25 seats. We're ready for people to come in, sit down, relax, and enjoy themselves. So we started out with that, and started our descent with 4 shelves in our humidor, and ended up with 7, and we carry about 250 different cigars, which is really low for a cigar shop.
Now, I'm not a big cigar smoker, but when I came into your shop and I didn't know what to choose, because I'm not a aficionado by any means. I will smoke a stick every once in a while, and I do enjoy it. And the help that I got from you and your staff, and I'm a big coffee drinker, and everybody knows me, I'm a big coffee drinker, and you directed me right to a cigar that fit my personality, fit my taste, fit everything, and I enjoyed it so much. So, even if you're not an aficionado, your crew, your staff, just by someone's personality, is able to direct them to what cigar they can choose.
Well, and that's
what they'll
important to
enjoy.
us, because you
That's
go into some lounges and you're ignored, or
Right.
there's a click over in that corner. And at our place we're like Cheers, right? Everybody
Yeah.
knows your name, and if you walk in the shop at any time, we really bank on the fact that our members and the people that are sitting there are going to say hi to you. There's nothing worse than walking in a place and just feeling like I don't need to
Feeling
be here.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So what did they tell you? Hey, that's Sideshow Tipperello's from.
Sir, we don't carry Tipperillos. So, but we've gone through a lot of different cigars. Like I said, we carry about 250. We've probably been through 500, trying to find what people want. The big names, Macanudo, Cohiba, and Monte Cristo, don't sell in our shop. They just don't sell. But the different names that we do sell, that are, still we have the Fuentes, and Oscar by Leaf is one of our better ones. My Father's is one of our better ones, better selling ones, I should say. And they you try to find what people want. If somebody walks in and says, "Do you have?" and we don't, we send them to another shop. Or we put them in something that's hopefully comparable. It's like, just whatever it takes for customer service. That's the main goal at the shop.
Well, and comfort, enjoyment, and education. You educate your clientele, which is good, because you want to be well informed about. You don't want to choose the wrong cigar. You don't want to choose something that you're not going to like.
Well, you spend $10 or $12 and you hate it.
Right.
That's bad.
That's bad.
And I try to tell people, you're gonna have to test them all. There's 22,000 of them, so let's get started. And but you never
all
will.
night.
But you got.
So
to
how
find
do you
that.
how do you pick? Because we kind of know the clientele that comes into Main Street Cigar Company, and how do you decide, make the decision, this? I only have so much room in my humidor, and these cigars are what will make my clientele happy, as opposed to, say, a $9 or $10 cigar versus a $15 or $20 cigar. How do you make that choice? What goes in there?
Well, it's hard. For us, it's just seeing what sells. So, if we get a lot of people that say, "Look, I want a mild cigar," and that doesn't, leave that aftertaste. Okay, well, here's your choices. I want a cigar that's so bold it makes me dizzy. Well, here's your choices. So you got your both extremes there. You'll never hit it and figure it out exactly because, I can look at everybody and I say, do you like Coke or Pepsi? Well, they say Pepsi, I like Coke. So you're never going to hit the same palate on everybody.
Right.
But as long as I can tell you, and that's what I'll have to do. Like I went in a couple days ago and I said, okay, I need to try this again because I forgot. It's been so long since I've had it. I need to try it again. Okay, that's got some spice to it. It's got a little boldness to it. Okay, so the next time somebody comes in, I want something that's got a little spice or a little bold. Here I got a half a dozen choices for you.
So what I notice when I go into your humidor, there's different categories of cigars. There's like a Connecticut or Maduro or whatever. What are the categories of cigars that someone could come in and get at your shop?
Well, Connecticut's going to be your lighter wrappers. Maduro's going to be your darker wrappers. And then between that, you got Corojos, you got Sumatras, you got Habanos, all based on the wrapper. It's all based on the wrapper. The fillers, for example, the Indian cigars, their filler is exactly the same on all of their cigars, but they either put a Habano wrapper on the outside or a Maduro wrapper on the outside.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, the wrappers is the outside leaf, the part that it gets wrapped up in. And when it gets wrapped up in that leaf, that you get your taste from both ends. But a lot of your taste comes from the wrapper. So on the outside, you've got a Maduro, you're probably going to have a strong cigar. Now, if you put in extra filler that's stronger, you're going to have a really strong cigar. And nobody, think about this. There's easy numbers, and this isn't even correct, but let's say there's 100 different leaves of tobacco being made. To make a cigar, a cigar blender can come in and say, all right, I'm going to put in these 3 blends in the center and wrap it with this. Or some even do a double wrapper, or some like the 2012 Oscar we have, the barber pole. It's got 2 different wrappers wrapped together that make it look like a barber pole. So now you're getting all these different tastes. So, wow. And then the FDA requires, they have to have that blend on file. Okay, they have to have a ticket for each one. So here's the ticket, and it's on file. They can't change that. That has now been done. So the FDA is coming up with some rules where they're saying no more new blends. So whatever existing blends are out there, well, I don't know how you keep growing that way. It gets to a point where you stop, and I wish,
Maybe
people...
they're getting overloaded. They can't keep up.
Well, why keep up? I mean, if you're blending it, as long as you're not putting the wrong stuff in it that's hurting people.
Right.
Do cigarettes and cigars hurt people? Well, yeah, I guess they do.
So do hamburgers.
So do hamburgers, and so does crossing the street.
Right.
So Mongo slipped me a note, and he wanted me to ask you if our fathers are really...
My fathers
are really rolled between the thighs of 15-year-old virgins.
Well,
are they 55-year-old
What
virgins?
he's asking you is, can he get some of those? Because that's the kind he wants to smoke.
I think they'd be a little crushed.
And
why do you lay that on you, Mongo?
Yeah.
Here's where a lot of people...
Go ahead and tell him, Mongo.
Here's where a lot of people are afraid to go into a cigar shop, and they want to try. They want to sit back. They want to watch a football game. They want to relax, have a drink, and smoke a stick with friends. But they don't know how to do this. One thing about the Main Street cigar staff, and I got to commend your staff because, like I said, coming from an amateur in the cigar business, they were so helpful. So if I go to a restaurant and I order a food that I've never tasted before, I would expect somebody in that restaurant to tell me what it tastes like, what I'm going to expect. And your staff does that.
Sure.
Your staff is able to tell me what to expect in each and every cigar, which I find as a business owner, that's what you want. That's what draws your customer base, and I find that appealing because some place you go in, like you said, I don't know, and I don't want to be in a place like that where I have to try and spend a lot of money, keep spending money to try my fit when you can fit me into something to my personality, to what I've explained. And I like that about your staff.
Well, I think back 10 years ago when I started smoking cigars and walking into a shop, and the first shop I walked into was very helpful that way. The person I met, who is actually a regular at our shop now, worked at that shop, and he showed me this and went over that and said, well, what do you want here and what do you want there? And I said, well, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want this. And going through all that, and then and my worst experience was going into a shop around this area and walking in, and they just was like, you know what you want? And I was like, no, not at all. He goes, well, we got everything in there. Just go take a look.
Yeah.
You can't look at a cigar and pick the taste based on the look.
Right.
You just can't do it.
One thing I like about Main Street Cigar Company is the fact that you all keep track of what you like to smoke. Is if I come in there and
Right, your
say I buy
personal-
some flatheads or something, you guys keep track of that. So if someone, if you come back, well, I really like those. Well, what did I buy last time? If you're not a big cigar
'Cause you
person,
forget.
you forget. You can say, well, you bought the Flathead 660s, or you bought the My Fathers, or you bought the Perdomos, or whatever. And you can, your staff is very helpful that way. You keep track of all this stuff, and they all smoke them, so they can make suggestions. Well, I like this kind, or I like that kind. They're very helpful that way.
Well, that's just it. And knowledge is a power. And when you have people that have that knowledge on, if I have a question, they're able to answer. And that's what I like about it.
Well, and the other thing is, like, there's a lot of different brands out there that have rules and regulations as to what it takes for us to carry their product, buying it directly from them, which gives us a better price point. And there's a lot of good ones out there there's one company out there, Fuentes, for example, they're backed up 2-3 years to even get you as a vendor. But we carry a ton of Fuentes. We pay more, which means you're going to pay more, but we pride ourselves in, tell me a cigar that you can't find and I'll get it.
Right.
And I get them, and I find them. I've got more Fuentes than probably everybody in Texas. I mean, I literally do. They're going to cost you a little more because I have to get them through a secondary market. But if you really got to have that cigar, chances are you can get it from us.
So I see you brought some samples today.
I did. So, we carry Evel Knievel cigars. I talked with Kelly about a month ago about coming up with some more blends. So what I've got today is I brought some sample blends from a company that said, we want the business. So they gave me some of their blends that are ticketed. They're already predicated. And they're saying, okay, try this. So what I did is I brought some. I've got a Connecticut, I've got a Habano, and I've got a Maduro. So, Brian, you're probably more into the Maduro or the Habano.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Mongo's hardcore, so
he's a Maduro.
He's
you're going to be Connecticut.
He's a man.
Nice and light.
You're
so
a
we'll
pussy.
go 1, 2, and 3.
I'll be a Connecticut.
So, and when you're done with these, yeah, that's close to Rhode Island. I'm New York. Excuse me. But when you're done with them, let me know what you think. And the reason is because we've got to we're getting to that point. Evel Live was, I don't know if y'all remember that, but Travis Pastrana jumped Evel Knievel's jumps. And we had a huge event, about 150 people there. We had screens up everywhere. We had motorcycles. And it's coming up again in February. They're doing Evel Live too. Wrong way. Oh, yeah, it goes down to him. You're right.
Does that go to him?
Yeah, and that's
Connecticut,
that's yours.
Connecticut's close to New York.
I just saw
There you go, Mongo.
I saw a special documentary on Evel Knievel not too long ago. Just amazing on how he got himself.
You heard how he got into Caesars?
Yeah, how he got
Wasn't it
into
amazing?
Caesars. Yes.
It's amazing.
Well,
He
tended to be somebody else trying to.
he called Caesar's Palace and he said, "Who's this Evel Knievel you got jumping the fountains?" He said, "I don't know what you're talking about." He did that with like a Chinese accent. Then he called back as a Mexican accent. He said, "Who be this evil?" And he just did it like 6 times. And somebody finally said, "Find this Evel Knievel guy. I want to talk to him."
Talk about a self-promoter.
Oh, incredible!
He did an amazing job. That was
incredible.
That was a great thing that he did.
You got a letter?
I got one.
But yeah, he was an incredible guy. He was my hero when I was a kid. I just thought he was awesome. But we cater to the bikers, we cater to the car guys, we cater to the families. I mean, not your kids, obviously. They just passed the law now. It's got slipped into a bill and it got signed off. You have to be 21. It used to be 18, and then they had a little period you could be 18 if you were 18 by this date. Well, they passed it. Now it's 21 no way.
All tobacco.
Yeah, I lost 6 customers last week. They came in. They said, "Hey guys, I need to see your IDs."
And we're talking about Evel Knievel. You have the Evel Knievel mug there with the Evel Knievel prominently displayed on there.
We do. We sell those.
You have one of, at least one.
It's a
maybe
replica.
More, replica of Evel Knievel's motorcycle.
I do, and it was painted by Evel's painter.
That's right. And you've displayed it at Main Street Cigar on a couple of occasions, yeah?
Yeah, that's a fun one to ride.
Now,
have you ridden it? You actually went on it and rode it?
Oh, I ride it all the time.
Yeah?
Well, it's not in the shop.
Now, you chose this Connecticut cigar for me.
Well, because you're not a big smoker, you don't need something heavy. It's going to be a little bit lighter.
It's very light, very good. this is something I would definitely enjoy smoking, sitting back and smoking.
Is that as good as a? I mean, you smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Is that as good as a cigarette?
I think
What's the difference?
Well,
I don't
you're not
inhale
inhaling it.
You're not inhaling it.
But I mean, you taste it in your mouth, and is the taste of it better than cigarettes, or?
Yeah, I would smoke cigars. I mean, if I could make the full transition, if I could find a cigar I liked, I would probably quit smoking cigarettes and go to cigars every once in a while.
Right.
Because I do enjoy smoking a cigar every once in a while, but I haven't been able to find a good cigar for me. This is perfect.
I love Connecticut's. They're very good.
It's not heavy. It's not harsh. It's a light cigar. I like it.
These are very good.
We're trying them out. So, you know, we had a manufacturer bring those to us. He brought us obviously a sack full of them and said, okay, try them, because you can't smoke one cigar and know that it's the one.
Right.
You got to do 2-3 days and then come back and do it again. And if it hits you once, good. You know, we keep track of all that stuff. But, you know, we're wanting to come up with three different blends. We've already got the boxes made. I had some custom painted stuff done for that. So the box was, you know, one will be called the Wembley, which is where he jumped the 13 buses and just bit it hard.
Oh, yeah, that's when he went head over the
Yeah,
handlebars,
went over
right?
the top.
He landed wrong.
Oh, he landed real wrong.
Well,
and then we got the fountain, because we can't use Caesar's Palace as a name, so it'll be the fountain. And that's, of course, everybody knows that crash. Everybody knows that crash.
That's the iconic.
Yeah.
Slow motion over the
Slow motion, broke almost every bone in his body. And then we've got the Rocket, which is basically Snake River Canyon.
Snake River Canyon.
So those are the three blends we're trying to do. And what we want to do is get those boxes made and get this made. But everything gets approved by Kelly. So, you know, I'm trying to get these next three blends and go, okay, and do the same thing and go see Kelly and say, here they are. Here's a box of each. Take them to your friends, because he doesn't smoke.
Right.
So take these to your friends and see what they think. You know?
The one thing, just trivia too, that I learned on that documentary with Evel Knievel is the bike that he jumped with was stock. No.
There was no beefing
nothing,
it up.
No beefing
no
it up.
suspension,
No suspension. No nothing.
XR 750.
Yeah.
300 plus pounds.
What do you think?
Crazy.
Not bad.
Now does Robbie? His son is Robbie, right?
His son is Robbie, and Robbie's a beast.
Does he still
Occasionally,
perform?
occasionally, but not as much as he used to.
Right.
So his son Robbie actually jumped the Grand Canyon on a 2-wheel motorcycle. He didn't try it with a rocket. He jumped it with a motorcycle, and you can YouTube that. It's amazing. I mean, a motorcycle flying across the canyon, and he nailed the landing, but he didn't have a long enough ramp at the end, and he hit a rock, and it flipped him off. But he nailed the thing.
Wow.
I mean, he walked away from it easily. But yeah, I mean, you know, these guys are crazy. What we're working on now, there's another gentleman named Doug Danger. So Doug Danger is like Evil's protege. He wears Evil's colors. He jumps his bike. He holds a record. He was in Sturgis at what's that place up there? The big
Snake River Canyon?
No, the biker bar up there.
Oh, the biker bar.
Buffalo Chip.
Buffalo Chip.
And he jumped up there on Evil's bike, and he's got a record for that. And I've talked to Doug quite a few times, and we're trying to work a deal. We'd like to do a car show, barbecue cook-off, carnival, and at the end of the night, Doug does a jump. And he's all in. He's ready to go. The problem is finding a venue that's going to seat 20,000 people.
Wow.
That's close enough to us to make it worth it. You know, I mean, not so much worth it, but I mean, I can go to Texas Motor Speedway.
Right,
you
but
know?
that's too far.
Yeah, well,
how about grabbing one of the football stadiums, the high school football stadiums?
You'd have to go to probably Allen, you know, a big one.
One
But
of the big ones?
we were thinking maybe the rodeo, Mesquite Rodeo. Mm-hmm. You know, wouldn't be bad. But think of that, an all-day event. You got a carnival going on. You got a barbecue cook-off. You got a chili cook-off. And then the last thing at the end of the night is this guy flies over 15 or 20 cars.
So I will tell you this right now. One of our corporate friends has asked us to put together a mega event. And what you're saying to me right now is just set my mind ablaze, a mega event. And I could see this event being headlined by a big jump someplace. Give me lots of ideas. I think we should discuss it down. Yep, some comedy. I mean, I can see. I'm thinking some serious, some serious stuff.
Show with a musician and a magician, all wrapped up in one.
Oh yeah, we have a band, you know, or we could do local bands and just load them up.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing what you could do. But when you got 20,000 people in there paying to get in, but it's all access. You can go to everything there is to get in.
Yep.
You know, but let the carnival people sell their tickets. Let the food vendors sell their food. But you know, as far as, you know, the bands, that's part of it. The comedian, that's part of it. And the end of the night, the grand finale with fireworks, is this guy hits a ramp and the fireworks go off.
That would be awesome.
So, you, I got to tell you, I know one of life's greatest pleasures for me, and I think I can speak for Mongo as well, is being able to take a few minutes and sit, smoke a stick, drink a beer or another adult beverage, and visit with friends. It really is, for those of us that are in the first responder world or are veterans or both, it is one of life's greatest pleasures. And if you come down to the Main Street Cigar Company, what's your address on Main Street?
3602 Main Street in Raleigh.
3602 Main Street
It's the little
in
blue
Raleigh.
house on the corner with a front porch.
Intersection of Oliver and Main Street. You will find a great family atmosphere. The people are so polite, so kind, and if you need to unwind and relax, and you like to do it by smoking a stick or BYOB or BYOW or whatever else, Main Street Cigar Company in Rowlett is absolutely positively the place.
Jeff, you know, I've been to your shop a couple times. You know, you've been on the show. If you could see the news feed that we're showing right now, okay, I would like to ask your permission to use Main Street logo and place it for next week's show around our.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd like to
Absolutely.
place your logo up here.
Sure, that
So
would be great.
everybody could see.
Yeah.
Well, it's appropriate because Jeff and Main Street Cigar Company, Shannon, all the people down there at Main Street Cigar have come out and supported Smokes and Spokes. They've been great supporters of Third Watch. Hashtag Jeff came out. Probably a lot of people don't know this, but the people that were there do. He came out and brought the short bus out to
ran people back and forth.
Hands Across the Bridge and
Hands
ran
Across the
people
Bridge,
back
yeah.
and forth in the cigar bus to the bathroom so they could pee while we were doing Hands Across the Bridge. So he's been a great supporter, and we do
Well, and look
definitely appreciate everything you've done.
And look at our customers. You remember Larry Moss came with the coins.
Yep,
You know,
Yes.
the challenge coins that first car show. That
absolutely.
was just, I mean, that's the kind of guys that come into the shop.
So,
Did you tell Jeff we're having a meeting at his place tomorrow night?
oh yeah, by the way, we're coming over to your place tomorrow night and having a little board meeting. So
I'm assuming on the patio.
on the patio,
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
you guys
of course.
you guys are our patio guys.
We're your patio guys. So you brought somebody with you today.
So yeah, one of our regulars is running for Dallas County Sheriff. His name's Chad Purda.
Yep,
Hey, Chad.
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 Hey, Chad, come
There
on
you
over
go.
here.
But he's running for Dallas County Sheriff, and you know, it's just some of the things that you hear, the political stuff that just makes you sick. Chad's just not that guy.
Yep, yep.
But
Gotta scoot Jeff over and scoot
yeah, I'm gonna
Chad
let
around.
Chad sit here.
Are you going to stand for this?
I'm gonna stick around and watch it, but I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna sit in with us?
With
No,
you
you're
and
not gonna
Chad,
stay?
I'm not getting a word in. Am I, Mongo?
No.
Guys, I appreciate it.
Jeff, thank you very
Jeff,
much.
thank you.
Appreciate it,
Mongo,
brother.
you're a big
Thank you,
seeing
Jeff.
you. You bet,
Pleasure.
guys.
Pleasure.
Chad, have a
So,
seat.
Chad, welcome to the 99% Radio Network. Have a seat, brother. Sit down. You got
Chad,
something to drink
pleasure.
or stick to smoke? Hey,
Chad,
You know-
Jeff, we do get those, right? Thank you. Those are for
I
us.
got a hand out some more. You come by the shop tomorrow. We'll talk. You know
So,
Sure.
right now we'd like to, so everybody knows that the 99% Radio Network goes right down the middle. We don't necessarily endorse Republican or Democrat or independent. We don't endorse a conservative or, that's a lie.
Well,
Okay,
we have
that's
our
a lie.
opinions, and,
We have our
They're pretty,
opinions.
they're pretty slanted.
Yep, they're slanted. We listen. We are definitely not on the libturd side. I'm just gonna say. Are we agreed on that?
We're agreed.
Okay, so I'm just calling it like it is. But we don't pick. We always offer to have every side presented. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So the 99% network is straight down the middle that way. We offer Democrats, Dumbocrats, socialists, all the other assholes of the world the opportunity to come on to the radio and speak their piece and state their case and make it. And we try to, point and counterpoint. So today we have a candidate for Dallas County Sheriff, Chad Prada, with us. And he's a friend of Jeff's and therefore a friend of his is a friend of ours. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank y'all for having me.
So we're happy to have you. So tell us why. Let's just get it out of the way. Why are you running for Dallas County Sheriff? And by the way, you're talking to about 50,000 people around the world right now. So don't be nervous or anything, okay?
Oh, no, if I can't tell you why I'm running, I don't need to be up here.
Damn straight.
Just speak louder, this way we can get you.
Okay.
Yep.
So after 16 years with the Sheriff's Department, I did a lot of fights with equal pay and several issues with discipline and helping out employees of here's how you file your paperwork and here's how you do it. And it reached the point that I couldn't do any more in the position I was in. It was either get out or step up. And so a couple of guys approached, and we got tired of just watching the department fall. We got tired of watching the city of Dallas crumble, and our oath just wasn't getting followed. So thought about it, sat up, and said, all right, time to step up. And
What are some of the issues that you've seen within the Sheriff's Department that you would like to change?
Well, the first issue I'm going to change, I'm going to address morale. So right now within the department, much like DPD, we have an attrition rate that's higher than what we can hire. We can hire employees. 24 months ago, the current sheriff took office. We were short, a little under 200 employees.
And that's your staffing requirements? Under your staffing
Under staffing requirements for one jail.
Right.
So we were short several employees. We've hired over that. We're now even more short than when she started. And so we are short probably 600 officers.
600 officers.
And that's non-sworn and sworn. What we're looking at in the county is non-sworn is in our jails. Those are the ones that work day in and day out with the inmates. And then we have our sworn, which is our deputies that are on the streets, and some of them are in release and in the jails. But we are so short at this point because of morale. We cannot keep employees.
Now, throughout law enforcement, throughout the country, we're hearing that same cry. We're hearing the same cry of attrition is overlapping our recruitment, right?
Yes.
Because of media, social media, the general public's view on law enforcement. So people aren't taking that step. When I was getting on a job, it was pride. It was something you wanted to do to make a difference. Now it's hard. So what are your recruitment efforts to bring people into the job?
So nationwide, we have a shortage of officers, and we do. It's a cultural thing.
Right.
Like you said, when I came up, it was a badge of honor. I was proud to have that badge, and I earned it. Now many of them look at it as it's just a job, and they're ready to move on. Within the Sheriff's Department, our problem isn't recruiting, though. So nationwide, everyone's dealing with recruitment, and that can be tackled by going to schools, colleges, and high schools. You can work for the Sheriff's Department at 18 years old and be a jailer, and you'll get a lot of experience by the time you turn 21 and be one hell of a cop. What I'm looking at is right now we're losing 15, 16-year veterans for the department.
That's a lot of training. It's a lot of experience that you're losing.
That is, you cannot train that. To put an officer through training, you're looking at about $200,000 from the day they hire, field training, the academy, and then through continuing education. For the first 2 years, you're $200,000 in debt. When you lose a 2-year employee, it's not as bad as when you lose a 15-year employee.
What's the biggest retention problem right now with the 15-year employee?
The current administration is very toxic and retaliatory. You know, in the last 2 years, we've lost 3 chiefs. When your heads of your department are jumping ship, there is a serious problem within. Morale has dropped to the point that it's non-existent. And when you have an officer that is 10 years from retirement and they leave and go somewhere else, that is stellar in law enforcement. It was unheard of a decade ago.
Right.
You know, you want to do, in our department it's 30, in other departments it's 20, but you wanted to make retirement and head out.
Of course.
Once you're vested, you have so much in that department. Your family is in it, your life is in it, and they're leaving. And we have to stop that retaliatory nature. We got to get an administration that's willing to stand with the officers and not hold them out, not put them out into the trial by media knowing what they did was legal.
Now, let me ask something, and I agree with you. I agree, because once you get to that position of leadership of chief, where it's a political chess game.
Yes.
Okay. I know a lot of old-time veterans get frustrated because they know it's not working the way it should be working.
Right.
Because of the way society has focused on law enforcement, has focused on jail reform, has focused on our revolving door justice system. You know, makes it very hard for officers to even do their job to the best of their ability. So it's very easy to lose morale. It's very easy to get some new kid to turn around and say, I'm just here. How can you change that? I'm with you. How do we change that perception?
Where'd you cut her, buddy?
So
how do we change How do we change that perception within the community, within society, when you go to a high school to try to recruit an 18-year-old who's been watching YouTube videos on bad-mouthing law enforcement? How do you change that perception in a kid's mind?
Well, so there's several things you covered on that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We'll start with the recidivism rate. So right now, jail reform, and I'm not going to say it doesn't, it needs to be reformed. At the county level, we don't offer programs to give inmates tools that when they're released back into society, they can go get a job. What we're doing is we're holding them for 2 years, or a year or 6 months, and then we're just cutting them back out. Well, how do you expect someone to ever better themselves and to not come back if we don't give them the tools to get out of poverty?
Right.
Well, one of the ways to address recidivism rate, I've got a program that I'm working with Sheriff Lamb in Arizona. And what it'll do, it'll be a 6-month program for low-risk crimes. No violent crimes, no family violence, but your low-risk crimes, they go into this program and they have to come in for class 2 days a month. And that'll be their bail. They'll be let out based on that program. They won't have to pay a dime. But through that program, they'll learn how to fill out a job application, how to act in a job environment, how to dress, how to talk, and different job skills. At the end of that 6-month program, I bring in different work areas, auto bodies. I've got a couple of restaurants offering chef programs, and those inmates will be able to apply for those jobs, and they'll learn skills. They'll learn trade skills, how to fix a car and move up. They'll be able to always provide for their family. And say, the example I like to use is a theft. You get somebody that stole $1,000 worth of product. Well, he'll be working that off. He'll be a confidential informant effectively for law enforcement. So part of his paycheck will go to repay what he stole. Once that's done, he's free and clear. The case is never filed.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Not too long ago, the district attorney of Dallas County issued this new policy about non-prosecution for a whole bunch of crimes. Theft under 750, just to name one. What's your position on that?
He is perpetuating crime. So if I take someone that they were already in a position that they had to steal to survive, and I don't give them the tools to get a job, I'm going to continue to keep them stealing and in poverty.
Well, we see that happening in, and I'll just say, in Nassau County.
Yeah.
It's a small county in Long Island, New York. They released about 300 low crime violators with the new jail reform. We're at January 8th, and so far, some of them have been already rearrested and re-let go 3 times already. Right. So we're spending money, taxpayers' money, on officers going after these low-level crimes when we should spend the money on what you're saying as giving inmates the tools to better themselves, to be able to come out of prison and be able to reform their lives.
And so that program, what the district attorney is effectively doing, he's winning votes. It looks pretty on the surface, but he's keeping an entire generation in poverty. If we give them the tools, and through the programs that we're going to be doing, it won't cost taxpayer money. So I'm not offering to pay these businesses. I'm offering these businesses the opportunity to come in, and they are wanting to come in. So it won't cost us anything, and we are bettering the society within Dallas County by doing so, because we're getting more people influx into workforces.
What do you see in Dallas County in your system? The recidivist rate. How high is it?
That's a big word for you.
It is a big word. It's like Simnon. So the recidivist rate in Dallas County.
Last checked, it was somewhere around 60%.
60%.
And that's coming off the top of my head, so don't quote me.
No.
on it.
But that's, anything above 50 or 40% is considered high.
Anything above 20 is unacceptable.
Right.
We as law enforcement are failing because the penalty isn't enough. When you take your children, if you just spank your children or just put them in timeout or however you want to do it, and you never tell them the right way to do it, how do you expect them to learn?
Right.
So if I take someone and I just keep locking them up, all right, you're arrested for possession of marijuana, and I just keep locking them up, but I never give them programs that tell them how to get off of it. A narcotic that, methamphetamine, once you try it once, you are addicted and it becomes a chemical problem. You
Right.
couldn't quit if you wanted to. Well, I never give them the program or the tools to get off of it. How do I expect them to get off?
Right, because you're going to release them back into their prior environment where methamphetamines are going to be easily accessed, and to an addict, they're just going to go right back into the old way of life.
We see a astounding poverty and narcotics go hand in hand. Statistically, across the board.
Sale and use.
Sell and use. If it's a poverty-ridden neighborhood, there will be drugs. And statistically, that's what we're seeing. No one's doing anything to stop it.
So, what assignment are you currently working? What are you assigned to? Where are you assigned?
Well, I was recently terminated. Before I was terminated, I was a homicide detective, and I specialized in child crimes. I'm a mobile forensic expert.
And Texas is a right-to-work state. You can be terminated at any stage for any reason because someone doesn't like you, maybe because you're opposing them in an election or for whatever reason, right? Is that correct? Or
yes and no. So we are a right-to-work state. However, my termination is going to be contested. We were a civil service department, and my own department regulations state it could not happen. However, the sitting sheriff went against that, and we are fighting that in litigation on the back. The main focus right now, though, is to get in office, because where I was, yes, I could solve a lot of crimes, but I couldn't do anything to make anything better.
You couldn't stop those crimes. On the preventative side, you couldn't do.
Right.
So how does your position, what you've articulated to us, differ from the sitting sheriff right now? If she was to come here and sit over here and say, I'm the current sheriff of Dallas County and this is what I stand for, how do you differ from her?
So my stance is what Crusoe is doing is faulty. It's not incorrect. We need to fix it. However, we need to work with Crusoe in making that program, integrate it with the one that I'm looking at to give them tools to get back out. I'm not trying to perpetuate recidivism. They're just treading water.
What kind of backlash are you getting? Why aren't these programs being put in place? Because I know that the sheriff of Tarrant County is working on some of these issues that you speak of, in Tarrant County.
Yes. Across the nation, sheriffs are working on it.
Huh?
Across the nation, sheriffs are working on it.
Right.
I'm talking with a sheriff in Arizona that is working on this, and he's directly on the border. Everywhere is working on it, and I can't tell you why Dallas County is not working.
You're getting pushback.
I got terminated.
You got terminated. Yeah. So, oh my.
I was
because of these.
My actual termination paperwork is for political activity, untruthfulness, and dereliction of duty.
All right, so I'll ask the obvious, immediate question. It says untruthfulness? Did you lie?
Negative.
Okay.
And that was proven. You guys are in law enforcement. Y'all know your F5 that you submit to the state when you withdraw. When the Dallas County submitted my F5, they said I was not untruthful. Because you have to be able to prove it when you put on a government document.
Correct.
And it's much easier to just gloss over it until you are actually held to the fire. And they had to say I was not untruthful and I was not derelict of duty.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and think and shoot it. I'm going to shoot it from a different side. The county makes money on recipient,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When you think about this, you know, in some politics, I don't know the Dallas politics. I don't know the Dallas County, so I'm not speaking against them. I'm just saying that in some areas, maybe Dallas, where they profit off criminals coming back into the system. So anybody who's putting themselves on the line and saying, hey, I want to stop this recidivist rate, is kind of really taking money out of certain people's pockets. Is that fair to say?
Yes. It will take a lot. Dallas County recently declared to be a welcoming county.
Which is?
It's not a sanctuary county.
Okay.
Because they're still utilizing federal grant money. So they can't be a sanctuary county, otherwise the feds cut off funding.
Right.
Which is part of the reason the current sheriff and immigration, we have a shift of immigration officers in our jail right now. But that's the fullest extent. They do the bare minimum so that they can still get that federal money. And then they'll turn around and say we're a welcoming city, so they can tell everybody else, oh, we want to welcome in. And it is a complete play on words, and it all comes down to the bottom dollar.
Right.
They're not willing to stand up for what they believe in because they want that federal money. And a lot of things of what we're doing is incorrect. Right now, if, say, an immigrant comes in, or an illegal immigrant, they get arrested for a low-level crime. There's a hold put on them for ICE. And until immigration can come in and interview them, we won't release them. They won't tell the family there's an immigration hold, but there's a bond that's posted. Well, the family will come up and post a bond, and this is already a poverty-level family. They post that bond, we still can't release them. So now that family has put money up, and we can't release them until ICE is done. And ICE is probably going to...
What's the family told at that point?
Nothing. You can't get the money back.
And they can't get the money back.
No.
So you're putting a family that's in poverty deeper into poverty by not correctly informing them
by not
on
telling
what's
them
going to happen.
Yeah, first up, you should tell them, if you pay this, they still won't be released, and you're pending immigration. Wait until that immigration trial is done, and then bond.
Post bond.
But we don't tell them that because they want the money, and it victimizes a society that's already victimized.
Twice.
Yes.
Right.
And it also further perpetuates that don't trust law enforcement, which is something we have to fight. One of the other things I'm pushing on is transparency. You know, we're going to have it posted, immigration hold, no bond, and then the bond, and they'll be clearly told, if you post this, we won't release them. But some of the other things we're going to do right now, when you're arrested, there's hardly any statistics released. Well, I want to release statistics monthly. I want to invite the media into my department, give them media passes so that they can go to scenes, they can come in behind the closed doors and see. It's all going to be up front. The citizens are going to know exactly what's going on in my department, and they're going to know when my officer does right, I'll back them. When my officer does wrong, I'll be right there with them prosecuting. You know, that's kind of the catch with me. I've arrested officers, and I've also sat in grand jury and said, no, they're completely innocent. Here's what I have found, and I have fought for them to get off. If you're right, you're right, and if you violate, you violated. And that we need to get back to public trust and transparency, and the only way to do it is to stop saying everyone is wrong, to actually stand up with your troops and say, they were right. Here's why they were right. We just, somewhere along the way, we lost our way. We lost sight of what we were doing.
Besides shows like ours, are you able to get that message out throughout your campaign?
Throughout different groups, yes. All the groups that I'm speaking with now and on social media, if you'll look at my social media, everything I say, I'm willing to go on the record. Unlike some politicians out there, I don't gloss over it. If I say it, I stand behind it. And I mean, when I give out my card, it's got my personal cell phone number. We have to get it out there.
Well, I can tell you, you're talking to three old school cops right here. And in our careers, which started for me 79, and Sideshow was right behind because he's older than dirt. right behind me. Mongo was.
I'm younger than you.
Yeah, but you
older
always done.
dude.
Okay, so I'm older
My
than
law
Dirk.
enforcement,
So-
you started in 79. I started 11 years after you.
Holy crap. Okay, so, but we're old school cops, all right? Our mission was to take bad guys to jail. And as a citizen of Dallas County, I want to see the Dallas County Sheriff's Office taking bad guys to jail. I don't want to see any feel-good shit. I mean, somebody that is hungry and goes to Walmart and steals some food because they're hungry, I have sympathy for that. You know what? I can understand that. But these douchebags that are running around Dallas County shooting people, killing 1-year-old babies, all this crap, I want to see them fuckers locked up and thrown in jail. Pardon me, sorry, Sideshow.
No,
but that is what I want to see. All right, I grew up in a law enforcement family. My lineage is all law enforcement. I want to see a sheriff that says, you know what, this touchy-feely crap, I'm done with this. Okay? I want a sheriff that says, my men are going to be fair. We're going to have compassion on people that need compassion, but them assholes that need to go to jail, they're going to go to jail. We're taking them to jail. None of this, oh my God, he only stole $750 worth of stuff. Screw that crap. Throw their ass in jail.
My Mongolog next week. It's already in the can. It's about the war on soft on crime.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, and I'm gonna play a different role in a second. I do want to see the criminals go to jail. I do want to see people who are victimized by criminals. Okay, I do want to see justice be served for them. But I do agree 100% with your point that if we do not give a second chance to a low-level criminal,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
if we do not give them the tools to become productive members of society, if we just kick them out on the street, they're going to end up back in prison.
Now,
I like your way of thinking. I like your platform, and I like what you're saying is we need to give these low-level criminals tools to get back into society.
Just
That
don't
is
make
the
high-level
jail
criminals
platform.
Low-level criminals.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that is
Do not
the jail
reclassify.
platform.
Do not reclassify.
That's the jail. Dallas County Jail houses every inmate for 31 cities. So that is my jail platform. Once you're incarcerated and you're in jail, that's what's going to happen. I don't want you to come back. I don't want you to stay at Hotel Lulu for the rest of your life. My officer platform. I'm going to date myself. In 2008, I graduated the academy. And I went from the academy
You were still a pup.
Oh, yeah.
2008.
2000.
Wow, I retired in 2008.
I started in 2003 is when I began my career.
Yeah, keep going. I'm just going to check the
So
volume.
I graduated the academy and I went straight into warrant execution. And our warrant execution in Dallas County, we rode 2-man squads and we served everything from low-level speeding tickets to felony-level cases. And it was a 2-man unit. We'd kick doors, we'd go in, we'd go search the houses. We hunted them relentlessly. If I got your warrant, you were going to jail. I spent 8.5 years on SWAT. From that, I went into the detective side and spent 4.5 working with child crimes and homicides. My outlook on it is I want the municipalities to handle those low-level crimes. Now, the Sheriff's Department is the law enforcement agency for unincorporated areas in Dallas County. So we will still have some of those. But I want my guys looking at human trafficking, at large-end narcotics. I don't want the street-level dealer. I want him to work for us, and I want the guy that's bringing it in across the border. When I say we're fixing the recidivism rate at low level, that's for jail. That's for the municipalities that have made all these arrests and these lower-end cases. I want to free up the department. Irving, or Texas, is the #1 in human trafficking. Irving is a hub for human trafficking. Dallas County is a hub for human trafficking, and I want my guys putting an end to it. I want to search big crimes. I don't want my deputies having to go to a store or do a traffic stop and are carrying about a rolled joint. I want them to do a traffic stop and carrying about 12 kilos of meth and then trace it back to where it was.
Listen, I'm so happy to hear you say that because one of my pet peeves, and I can't say, I'd probably get in trouble if I said which agency I still work for, and the things that I see that are a pet peeve of mine, but I see this new group of police officers and sheriffs that come in, and they think they are setting the world on fire if they arrest region traffic with a misdemeanor traffic warrant out of Timbuktu, Texas. They think oh my God, I'm a crime fighter. I arrested this person that's never had an arrest before. And by the way, she's a nurse on her way to go to work, and I've taken her off the street. I've arrested her for a $150 traffic warrant. Screw that crap. Go out there. If you can do that, you can find that person with the meth, with the crack, with the coke, with a pound of weed, with something substantive. That pisses me off so much when people think they're a good cop. And I've known Mongo for 40 years. Me and him were partners. We used to, and I'm not, this is not hyperbole, we used to kick ass on bad guys. We took murderers, armed robbers, burglars. Those are the kind of people we took to jail. We didn't worry about a freaking traffic warrant. But today's police officers, it seems to me, they think, hey, that's my job. My job is to collect revenue. And I see it with Dallas County, well, I can't say because I'll get in trouble if I say. But for example, say somebody arrests somebody on a traffic warrant, brings them into jail, and they have to hold them for 24 hours. And this happens time after time after time because Dallas County or the particular agency can't come and pick them up. It happens all the time. It's like, what a waste of time and resources. Get out in the neighborhood, start making quality arrests. I want to see some dope. I want to see guns. I want to see bad guys coming to jail, not the nurse on her way to work that forgot to pay a traffic ticket. And I hope to God, if you get elected, Chad, that's something that you tell your guys right away. Listen, we are going to be a compassionate, understanding law enforcement agency, but we're going to take bad guys to jail. Okay, we are going to enforce the laws of the state of Texas, and we're going to take bad guys, not the person that forgot to pay their traffic ticket, which it's important. You got to pay your ticket. You got to be responsible. But I want to take people that have drugs, that have guns, gang members, which Dallas County is full of them. I want to take those people to jail. And if everybody had that attitude, this is just an old man's opinion. If we had that attitude, and as the chief, you're going to be, if you're elected, you're going to be the chief law enforcement officer in Dallas County. You have a lot of influence. You have influence with the individual police departments. And you say, you know what? Why are we spending so much time dealing with all this bullshit? Let's focus on these bad people that are in Dallas County. Let's start taking these people to jail. And as one example, and then I'll get off my my soapbox. When DPD called in DPS to help them patrol because they were having manpower shortages, and they went out there and they started making an impact, doing what they should have done. What happened? You saw the city councilman, oh my God, they're harassing these people. They're taking too many of them to jail. All that bullshit. I want to see every single, you said 31 entities in Dallas County, 31 police departments, plus the sheriffs and DPS. I want to see you guys taking bad people. This is just my opinion. It's not the opinion of the 99% Radio Network or Sideshow or Mongo necessarily. This is my opinion. If you're elected sheriff, I want you to say, we're going to have priorities, and our priority is taking bad guys to jail. And I'm off my box. There you go.
Well, right. So who was around for the Dixon Circle riot? The Dixon Circle riot, when DPD shot a young kid in the back in Dixon Circle, and they were losing, the neighborhood was coming unglued on them. Sheriff's Department, we were the ones that went in. We went in, we quelled it, no other shots were fired, nobody was hurt, everything backed off. When the troopers came in, I was personally offended. It should have been the Sheriff's Department. We should not have had to reach to a state entity to ask for help. They should have come to us, but we said no.
You said no?
Our department did not send anyone. I won't say no. My personal goal is to put deputies back on the streets and actually work them. And in warrants, when you get a Class C citation, those are easy to go pick up. It's easy because I know I can look and see on the arrest history this dude's got a job, so I'm going to show up at his house at about 4:30 when he gets home. It's easy. I don't want the easy arrest. And I'll have you guys come out the night I swear in, January 1st. When I stand up and address the troops, and I'm going to tell them this. I'm not worried about quantity. We're not here to make money for the county. We're here to spend money. Start doing your job. Go be real police.
Hell yes.
Do the investigation. Go find the bad guys. Go find that guy with 10 felony warrants that no one else can find.
Damn sure.
Bring him in. Then I'll give you a pep talk. But you bring in 15 Class Cs, that's easy. That's not doing your job. Any rookie on the street can do that.
Yeah, you can punch it in your computer and scan the plate, and it gives it to you. You don't have to do anything.
Chad, how can people go out and hear your platforms, find out what you stand for, and vote for you? When is the election?
So the election is November of 2020. So when they vote for president, they can go all the way down to ballot. We're on page 13 or 14, and they can vote for me. But right now, if they want to hear my platform, what I stand on, social media, they can go to PRDA for Sheriff, or they can just search Chad Perda, and it'll show up. I'm on all social media. The website's Perda for Sheriff, the number 4.com. And everything I say, I do it just like this, on the record.
Well, Chad, once we get back into our studio, in our home-based studio in Arlington at Fishbowl, we'd love to have you back.
Okay.
Not so much on a venue like this, but on a real commentary tour.
Okay.
I'm not sure that everybody that is listening right now can hear the things that you're saying. When we get in that studio, I really want you to present this because, on behalf of myself and I think 12 and Mongo, we do back what you say. We agree with your platform, and we want to share that with the rest of the world. We want to share that with the rest of Texas.
Not that we're biased or anything. We're right down the middle.
We're right down the middle, but we're facing right.
I agree with what you're saying, but I want to make sure everybody is well informed for in November when they go cast that ballot. They cast it for the right reasons for you.
Right. Now
that's what I want.
I would love to. Anytime, call me. I will make time for it. The only thing I ask, don't pull your questions. Ask me the hard questions. And if somebody pops up on Facebook with something, if I cannot answer it, I don't need to be in that job.
We're back in the studio. We have the telephone. They can call in.
So how about we do this, Chad? How about when we get back into the studio, and we apologize that we're kind of roughing it here. How about we have your opponent? We extend an invitation to them. We're roughing it. We extend an invitation to you and your opponent, both to come into the studio, both to have equal time to present your positions, and we'll talk about law enforcement shit. We'll talk about it from people that actually know what it's like to be out on the street, take bad guys to jail, and
you want to do a debate on air?
And we'll be fair and impartial.
I would love
How about
it.
we do that?
I would love it.
So I'll tell you what. Can we offer an invitation to his competition? And to be fair, we'll split it down the middle.
Of course we can.
So how about that? Does that suit you?
That's perfect.
Will that be fair? We'll extend the invitation. They'll either accept or they'll deny. If they'll deny, we'll say why they deny, because they ain't got time for us or what are the bullshit answers. Fair enough?
And,
I would love it. Like I said, I will stand behind everything I say.
Actually, 12, I think that's a great idea.
I come up with one every once.
Every once in a while, I think that's a great idea. Because that will show
blind
true
squirrel
values.
finds a nut every now and then.
I think that's a great idea.
But we'd love to have you, seriously. Because this is a very difficult time. The 99% Radio Network is involved in a lot of efforts to honor and show respect to our first responders. This is a hard time for first responders. Cops are getting killed all over this country. People think it's okay to shoot at cops, to be disrespectful. If you look at the shit that's happening in New York City, where people are throwing water and trash and treating the cops there pathetically, we do not condone that bullshit. We are opposed to it. We are definitely 100% pro law enforcement. And I believe, personally, just speaking for myself, that Dallas County needs a change in direction. we need a return to old-fashioned values where the emphasis is on taking bad guys to jail. And I'm perfectly happy as a co-host to bring on the other side and let them state their opinion and have a fair and open, honest debate. And we love it. Are we right? We'd love to have him come back and his competition.
And you know what? I think a debate is perfect because we don't know. And just to be fair for your opponent, we don't know their values, and we want to hear it. So it's fair, and let the public decide.
And let them decide.
And we'll have a one-on-one debate, and I think that's perfect. That's the fairest. And talk about transparency. There you go. There's transparency.
I think that's the best way. And I actually push for that because, I got terminated for running. When I'm sheriff, if one of my deputies steps up, I'm not doing the job, step up. If you believe what you're doing is right and you're doing the right thing, it doesn't matter what they say, I'll come out ahead.
Well, I promise you, when we do this, I know these two guys intimately. I've known Mongo for 40 years. I know his career. You'll get a fair shot. Your opponent will get a fair shot, get to state your case, and we will let the public decide, but we will not pull any punches because we've been there and we've done that. And I think the people of Dallas County, I think they want a sheriff. They want law enforcement to go out there and enforce the law. They want people that take people to jail that deserve it, not these low-level, classy, oh my God, I forgot to pay running a stop sign ticket bullshit. Just to give
you a little update on what some of the feedback is right now, and it was from the Guardian Devils Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club
Northwest
chapter. Wish there were more like Chad. Exactly. They need to be honest way to earn an honest wage. Agreed. So you're getting a lot of our listeners to agree with your platform, your statement. We're getting a lot of good feedback throughout this. So kudos to you. You're on the right path.
Thank you.
Chad, thank you very much, brother. We're glad you came in, sat down with us. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me out.
Thank you very much, man.
We'll see you soon. We'll get this set up. All right, brother? All right. Thank you, Chad. Good job.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Purda.
And that was Chad Purda running in November 2020 election for Dallas County Sheriff. And we're going to host we're going to host a debate. Once we get back in the studio, we'll bring his opponent in and we're going to host a debate. And let the viewers decide on what platform they should stand for. We are here live at the VFW Post 5076.
What's up, brother?
In Garland, Texas. Good. And we are proud, finally proud to introduce you to the man who runs this whole
you the man.
This whole post. Vietnam veteran, post commander, Gunner Seidel. Kleinbell. He's had a beer. That's how proud I am.
I'm so proud to be here with you three gentlemen for what you do for veterans, first responders. I love it. So proud.
So for those of you that are watching right now, and people are seeing you literally around the world, 23 countries, at least one person in 23 countries around the world. This is Ed Gunner Kleinbell. Ed is a Vietnam veteran. He is, and he knows that he's one of my personal heroes. And we're not going to go off in this direction because we're talking about what the VFW does today. But Ed was he's a Vietnam veteran. He was a helicopter door gunner, thus the road name Gunner. During the Vietnam War, he flew in Huey helicopters, and you were in who did you belong to?
1st Cav Division.
The 1st Cavalry Division during Vietnam. He doesn't talk about this. He's not going to talk about it now, frankly. But so I'll do it for him. He was POW for 29 days during and just after the Battle of Quezon. He is, in my opinion, an American hero and a patriot. I love this guy greatly. Absolutely, we salute him, and he is now the post commander at VFW Post 5076 in Garland, Texas. It's located at the basically at the intersection of Castle and Meridian in Garland. You can't miss it because there's a big old fucking tank that sits out front of the building, so you know that's where it is. And we've brought Gunner in today because he's 70 years old, and his whole focus since we've known him is on helping veterans and taking care of veterans and making their lives better. And I've known him for about 3 years now, and he wasn't always the post commander when I knew him. He was a member beforehand. When I first met you, you've been the post commander for 2 years. This is your second term, right?
Yes, I was a senior vice.
Senior vice commander of 5076. But it didn't matter because when I first met him, his emphasis, his whole focus is on taking care of veterans. And
I'll say this also about Gunner. Yeah, he allows Third Watch to use his facility every third Thursday for our monthly meetings. We get a private room. We come out here to enjoy ourselves in the canteen afterwards.
Damn straight.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much, Gunner.
Damn straight.
And if I can add, I've done a lot of different things throughout VFW and North and South Texas VFW posts. Okay. Now I could see, and I wish I could turn the camera around and let you guys see. When you walk into a VFW post, you'll see a few guys at the bar. You'll see a couple of stragglers on most nights. Okay, here we are on a Wednesday night, and I could say, from my view, we have full tables, almost a full bar, people playing pool. Now that shows not only respect. That shows you run your post like it's supposed to be run. You've earned such respect from the members of the community because not everybody here is a veteran, okay? You've earned such respect throughout the community for what you do for the community that they come to your post. You know, that's hats off to you. That's hats off to you.
This post got its license December 3rd, 1945.
45 they started.
45. A lot of people weren't alive. Any veteran will tell you the heroes are on the walls. We're here because of them. This is a house of honor.
Now, for those of you that are listening that have never been in a VFW post, have never experienced the feeling you get when you walk in, and that hits it right on the head. The heroes that live here, that occupied here, they're in here, right? Their spirits, their everything's alive in here. Now, when you walk into a VFW post, there's usually a table with salt and a lemon,
lemon,
and a dish.
Yes.
Explain, because a lot of people don't know and they're a little afraid to ask what that's all about.
This is for the POW. This is for the gentleman that didn't come home. He didn't come home. You're here. You're speaking English because of him.
Right.
We honor the POWs.
What does the salt represent?
They gave all.
They gave all. Oh.
So, Gunner, I got a message here. One of our listeners sent this to me. This is in reference to you. It says, "A good man, kind heart, will not let anyone go without. He respects the vets to the extreme." And I think that pretty much sums up what I...
That was from Judy Lamb. Yeah.
That's from Judy Lamb, from Jude. Thank you, Jude, for that. So, I want to bring up one thing that I know that is a great success story in the VFW and what the VFW does for the community of Garland and Raleigh and all over. Almost 2 years ago, you and your current manager at the time, Twisted, found a Marine vet sleeping out here in the ditch. And I've gotten permission in the past to use his name, Tim Combs. You and Twista found him out there. You gave him a job here. It wasn't much, let's be honest, but it got him out of that ditch. You gave him work, you put him to work, and now today, that guy's buying Mongo and Rocky dinner over in Rockwall because he's come all the way back up. And that, to me, that just encapsulates everything that you are about helping veterans. That's what the VFW 5076, Gunner Kleinbill, and your beautiful bride, Betty Boop. How you doing, Betty Boop?
I'm good.
We are so happy to have you. Just so you know, about 45,000 people around the world are listening to you right now.
Awesome.
So we're pretty excited about that. But honestly, this is your post. I mean, there's posts all over. There's one in Mesquite. There's one over in Plano and whatnot. But 5076 kind of leads the way because of you, because of your attitude about helping veterans. Isn't that right?
I'm here for veterans. And when I say veterans, I mean first responders. These are people that forget everything. They go out and protect you. The police officers, the firefighters, the military. They don't care what color you are, what nationality. They're there to protect you. You know, and when you come out of a situation like fire, police officers, war, yes, they do have a problem. There is no person that can go through something like that it doesn't affect you. So think before you judge, because they might hate you, but they'll be there for you. They'll forget that. They'll forget that. If you're in trouble, they will give their self for you.
Now, Gunner, I don't want to date you, but
He's saying you're old.
I am old.
What's great is you come from a generation that when the military came back, they were hated. They weren't appreciated. You've seen generations of deployments change. You've seen what we're going through now. Okay, do you see it becoming a circle of back to the generation, back to the Vietnam era, where our generation now is starting to treat our military the same way you guys are treated?
Yes, it has changed. You know, they say the baby boomers, the 60s generation, yeah, we didn't keep quiet. We stood up and said what we thought. And that's why we have things going on like now. That's why we're respecting our veterans. They need respect.
They earned it. They deserve it.
They earned it.
Every person who puts up their hand and honors our country deserves that respect.
You know, I was lucky. I had it easy in Vietnam. I come home. And the reason I come home was because of the ones that are on the wall. They gave all.
They gave all.
Tough. Well, something he said to me before we came on the air today was that, how many names, Gunner? How many?
362.
362 names on the wall that he follows. And since I've known Gunner, if you look up on the wall up there, you have all these the flags of the different groups. He has been 110% about helping veterans, about giving back. And I mean, if it's you have a vet that needs a wheelchair or a potty chair or whatever it is, I've probably called them a dozen times at least, just myself. Gunner, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? What do you need? Tell me what you need. It's done. And that that's why 5076 is one of Third Watch's favorite places to hang out, because we're like-minded. We are of, what do we got to do to help this vet? That's mission number one. Gunner 5076 goes above, and I can say this unequivocally. Did I say that right?
You did.
I did? I got it right. Pretty good. Does it sound right? Okay. Unequivocally, that 5076
We will make them define it.
Don't make me define it, you Nazi grammar police. They lead the way. They're setting an example for other VFW posts, for American Legion posts, because their mission aligns with our mission, his personal mission, to help veterans, to honor, serve, and support. Honest to God, in my lifetime, I have met few people like Gunner, like the staff. These are the people that he commands here at 5076 that we're looking out over right now, that take that mission to heart. What do we got to do to help this person? It doesn't matter if it's convenient, inconvenient, it doesn't matter.
Well, and you're saying that. And that's why this show is so important. We had Chris Cigar here with the VROC, okay, and that's a non-for-profit. Here at 5076, you are the Chris Cigar. You are that person who gives so much back to our veteran community. And 12, you hit it straight on the head, man. This is a place you can walk into at any. I mean, I'm an outsider. I'm not a veteran. I'm not from Garland. I'm not from any of the surrounding communities. But I walked in here, and I gotta say, this is home. This felt like home from the moment I walked in here, and it's because of you, Gunner, that you have gained that respect out of your staff. You've trained your staff to be that person, to give it back. Not many people can do that. I unequivocally.
Here we go with that word.
I have to say, it is a pleasure, it's an honor to know you and Peggy, okay? Because you are such wonderful people, and it's not easy running a VFW. To be the commander of a VFW, to be responsible for all this, cannot be an easy task to take over. So you need a good woman by your side.
Right.
Careful. Go ahead. Come on, brother. Come on.
This lady has been my friend for 53 years.
You were telling us a story.
Ninth grade. What is it, 17 days before you deployed? Yep. The reason this works is because people like you, the three of you. You won't give it up. And that's what we need.
We appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're all, 12 said it, everybody's like-minded, everybody's got the same mission in front of them to take care of our veterans, to take care of our first responders, to build up the morale, build up the respect, and to show respect to those. And not one person here in this place tonight. Now I'm sure there's, if I quick count, 75 people. It's every one of them has that same respect when they walk through that door.
And if you needed them today, they drop what they were doing.
Yep.
And they'd give all for you.
Yes, they would.
Yep,
but that comes from leadership. That comes from leadership. Because if someone walked through these VFW walls and didn't have that same respect, you would change their attitude.
I'll change their attitude.
Change their attitude. I know you would.
Well, our home club, Third Watch LEMC, the 99% Radio Network. We've come here. We've done comedy shows a couple times last year. I guess 2019, 2018. We've helped veterans. The VFW 5076 has been. They have gone above and beyond to accommodate whatever we needed to help those veterans, and then they've done their part. I've known Gunner for almost 4 years now, and yeah, whatever, 3-4 years. God dang, hey, time marches on. Time moves on. All right, so all right, whatever the fuck it is, time marches on. We were in Vietnam together.
I was 12 when I met you.
Okay. So
the right bikes up and down the block.
We did, all right? I dated Betty Boop before he did. Come on. Okay, bottom, you guys get what I'm saying. This guy he's made 5076 welcoming to anybody that is like-minded, that wants to help veterans, to take care of veterans in need. Because at the end of the day, this is all fun. Having a beer is great. Having a smoke is great. But for him, it's about taking care of people that need it. And he's 71. You're 71 now, right? How old are you? You're 71.
They told me to say fire truck. Everybody would know what I was talking about.
Okay, he's older than dirt, all right? But his objective remains the same, is to help people, to help veterans. And in my opinion, 5076 leads the way in that endeavor. They are about making a difference. So there you go.
Well, you know what? I think in a typical third watch, 99% law enforcement veteran honor, I think we should stand.
What are we going to do?
Nothing for you.
Not you. Raise your beer.
Thank you very much. I love you.
We salute you. Appreciate you, brother, very much.
Thank you very much.
Betty
Love
Boop,
you,
give me a
man.
hug. We love you too, because we know you're a part of this. Thank you so much for what you do.
And I said fire truck.
And you said fire.
Coming out, Peggy.
All right, now get off the stage.
All right.
All right, I'm done.
You're done.
At my
Thank you,
5
Peggy.
minutes.
Hey, what about
right.
Shiner? Did we forget Shiner? We're going to bring him up here for the last
Let's
couple minutes.
bring Shiner up for
Shiner!
a couple minutes.
You got to do it real fast.
KC. I said fire truck.
We got a fire truck coming.
Come on, Shiner!
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Hey, while
we
we're
already got a
waiting for
problem.
Shiner to come up here, I just want to give a quick
He came up
commercial.
here without a beer for us, though. He only brought
that's
one
all right.
for
We got
himself.
plenty. January 18th at
How you doing, brother?
Plano Super Bowl, we're doing a Eye on First Responders sponsored by T-Mobile. We're recognizing a Plano police officer. She was the Rookie of the Year for 2018. We're going to recognize her with our program, and there's going to be a great comedy lineup following that with 4 comedians plus our host sideshow. So I hope everybody comes out. Doors open at 6 o'clock, Plano Super Bowl, January 18th, a Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
Get a ticket to the door.
Rock and roll.
All right.
What's up, brother?
Man, love it live, brother.
Glad to have
Today's
you.
show has been strictly amazing.
Shiner.
We're here at VFW.
Hey, sir.
Pass me a beer.
56. We've had Chris Cigar with the V-Rock. We've had Jeff Peters with Main Street Cigars. We've had Gunner with commander of Post 5076. We had Dallas running Dallas Sheriff.
Chad
Prater campaigning, and you know it wouldn't be a 99% radio show without our other brother from another mother, Shiner from the Southern Dogs, and
Cheers,
Bike
brother.
Against Bullying.
Cheers.
Shiner, pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Great to be here.
You know we love BAB.
Amen.
You know, I was at
Cheers.
the Ice House in Bedford the other day.
You got it.
And some guy walks in, he's got his leather jacket on, and he's got a big old BAB button on there.
Awesome.
And I started talking to him. It turns out he got it from somebody, he backs you guys, and he got it from somebody over at Texas Harley Davidson. And he was proud to wear it. He walked into the bar and he had the BAB, and I said, we started talking. He goes, man, I respect everything those guys do. So I was proud to see that.
Very awesome. That makes me happy to hear.
So, give us very quickly what all. I mean, we know what BAB's done from the very beginning. 2019 was a pretty good year. You guys, the BAB is blowing up in terms of making a difference, raising awareness in terms of bullying in the schools. You're now in the schools giving presentations. Tell us all the good things that happened in 2019 for BAB.
2019, we escorted a total of 6 children so far to school. We got another one that's going to come up next Friday out in South Dallas. We did our very first school presentation out in Kemp.
Which is a huge accomplishment.
Very huge, because normally a school district wouldn't allow somebody who looks like me, dressed like this, to walk into school and talk to kids.
No,
I don't know why.
You're
Crazy.
a good-looking man. What the hell? What the hell?
I think so. Big and sexy is the way I roll. But lots of positive feedback from that school district. And now we're actually working with a school in Dallas to do the same thing.
Fantastic.
So if we get into Dallas ISD, that's just going to explode for them, which is really great.
The one thing I like about BAB is your success rate. Once again, your success rate is topping 100%, right?
Yes.
About 95 to 100%.
99.9%.
99.9%.
We had one failure where the school hid us away, so they couldn't see the impact that we'd have for that child. That's the only failure we've had.
That is amazing. That shows your program works. Now, when you brought the program into the school, into the auditorium, into the classroom with the kids,
yes,
I wish I was there because I wanted to see what kind of feedback and an impact you received. Tell us a little about that moment you took the stage.
It was electrifying. The kids, they're involved. They asked a ton of questions. They listened, and they actually took what we had to say to heart. And I've actually still, to this day, get calls from one of the Kemp counselors telling us what a great impact we've made with those kids.
You worked so hard to get in there.
Yes.
You worked so hard to get in there, and I'm so glad you did that, because that's going to pave the way to other schools and other districts to get you in there, to get your plan in place.
Absolutely.
And, as bullying is pushed under the rug in a lot of cities, it is a huge epidemic. We're losing children, not only by suicide and to drugs, but we're losing children's education because they fail to learn, right?
Yeah, because they shut down. When a kid's being bullied, it's more mental than anything. Most bullying is mental. And when a kid is beaten down mentally, they can't pay attention, they lose focus. They could be probably the next Einstein that we're losing.
They don't want to go to school.
They don't want to go to school at all. They get excited, these kids that we have that are bullied, they don't want to go to school until we escort them. They want that escort to happen yesterday when they find out about it. Which, it breaks my heart to hear that, but then the day after that escort, when I'm talking to the kid and the parents, they had the most amazing day they've ever had in their life at school. And it continues. We follow up with these kids to make sure they're still doing great. Our very first escort we've ever done before BAB was truly established, to this day, is one of the most popular kids in that school from that day. It's amazing.
Now, how old was that child?
She was 8 years old at the time, so she's 10 now.
I can't wait to see you at her graduation.
Oh, and I will be there. I guarantee you that.
I know you will be. Because that just shows teachers turn around and say, we want to make an impact on our children. You and what everybody does with BAB is making a tremendous impact in the child's life. You are paving that road to success.
Absolutely. And the cool thing about today's show, I got a chance to talk to Chad after he came off air, and we talked about BAB and what we do and what the police were able to do. And the one thing he clicked in on was something that is something even new for that we never thought about, and that's working with the police department, because there's things they can't do.
Right.
That we can't.
Their hands are tied.
Their hands are tied. But we can do it. So if we can start collaborating with police departments as well, when they have a child that they've gone to every extent they can do and need some help, they can call us to help them out and get that promoted, get that child fixed.
So that brings up a good point, Shiner. Why don't you tell our listeners, when BAB gets a call and you vetted it, you understand it, and you're fixing to move out and respond to that by going to a school, why don't you tell our listeners what is it that BAB does to bring attention to that child that's been bullied?
The first thing we do, of course, when we vet the child out to see what's going on, we find out what the problem is, we talk to the parents, see what the issue is. Once we've established that it is a true bullying incident that's happening, not just a one-time incident where they got in a little fight and parents are outraged. It's something that continually happens on a daily basis or weekly basis. We reach out to the school, let them know what's going on, that we know about it, and what we're prepared to do to help out with this child. We try to, if the school has an SRO, which if a lot of people don't know what SRO is, that's a student resource officer that is paid by the district, that's an actual police officer in the schools. We talk to them, we let them know what's going on, we talk to the principal. That way we're trying to be on the same page with them to work together as one to make sure everything goes smoothly. We accommodate any requests they have. That way it's nice and smooth. If there's a certain route we need to come into the school due to traffic, we work with the school completely to make sure that the school still runs efficiently, but yet we give the effect that we need for that child.
Now, with the school resource officer, getting back to where the police officer's hands are tied, okay? Everybody turns around with bullying and says, well, there's a school resource officer, they'll handle it. They can't always handle it.
They can't always handle it. No, because they're not there the whole time. When that school bell rings, guess what? That's when a lot of the bullying happens on their way home or on the school bus or something like that. So if it's a school bus incident, we ask that the school bus driver comes by, like they're going to pick that child up. We're waiting right there that all the kids on that bus sees us with that child and what's going on. And we make sure we arrive at that school about the same time that school bus is there. So those kids can see, hey, this is our little rock star, man. He's a cool kid. You might want to check him out. Rather than bully him, you might want to be a friend of his.
So what he's saying, for those of you that are not aware of it, when BAB actually responds and goes to a particular school, they go out to a house, to wherever the bullied person lives. They pick them up before school and then provide an escort from their house to the school. And I can remember the very first one. There was 15, 20
about 20 bikes.
About 20 bikes. And then it's grown over the last couple of years to include all kinds of different clubs. And I mean, I know clubs across Dallas and up into Denton County have come down and participated in this. And if you don't think it makes an impression on not only the school, the bully, the very first one when we did at that apartment down in South Dallas,
yeah,
the bully was watching all this crap that was going on.
We got to close it up.
It makes an impression. BAB is doing great stuff to help prevent bullying in Dallas County and across North Texas, and the 99% Radio Network will always support Bikers Against Bullying.
And just so everybody knows, when BAB is contacted about a bullying incident, their wheels start turning right away, but the process is not an instant process. There's vetting to be done. They have to coordinate. They have to set things up. You can't just have a bunch of bikers show up on their bikes at a school. You're going to make a lot of people upset and worried. But they start working right away, but it's a slower process. But that process does get done, but their wheels are turning right away. Shiner, we appreciate you coming out tonight. We got to get off the air.
You.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out, brother. It's always good seeing you.
Thank you, brother.
And don't forget, it's on Facebook. Bikers Against Bullying in North Texas. Check us out. If you're in a different area, you want to set up something like this, join our page. We'll show you how to do it. We'll teach you how to do it. You can start your own BAB response team right there where you're at, and we will help you with it 100%.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it, brother.
We always go on the 99% Radio page, and we'll share all that information with BAB on our page as well. And once again, always a pleasure. So, you want to close this up?
Mongo can't go because he has that EPO in effect, bro.
All right. Don't forget, January 18th at the Plano Super Bowl in Plano. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 8 for a great comedy show to support armed first responders. Tickets are $15 at the door. We got a great lineup of comics. It's always been a great time, but seats are limited, and we are going to pack the house. So get there early. And until next week. You guys got anything?
That's it for me.
Good.
That's good.
I'm
See
out.
y'all next week.
Stay
12
blessed,
is out.
be good, and we will see you hopefully in the studio in the next week or so.
Rubber
Take
down,
care.
chrome up. Hit it.
Rock and roll, baby.
All right, man. Thank you, Sean.
Anytime.
Appreciate it, brother.
Anytime.
Cheers, brothers. Good show. Fucking good show.
Woo-hoo. Guys.
Yes, buddy. Good job, Sideshow. Fucking awesome. I thought that was a great show.
Next week's monologue only 4 pages.